you're listening.
I just don't care.
No one is ever kidding Michael Cole.
Of course he can roll a grudge forever. This is wrestling.
Welcome back to This Is a Work. My name is David Hensley. I'm the owner and creative director of Long Walk Productions, and I am here to introduce your host, Robert, the distinguished gentleman Brafford.
Thank you, David. It is good to be back here at Kayfabe Outpost 1 after a pretty busy October and most of November, where Shelby Death Ray Patterson was good enough to step in as host. And then WWE had a couple of lackluster shows that, to be honest, I didn't think there was enough interesting to say about to really have an episode. But I think we got plenty to say tonight. And to get started with that, I'm going to introduce my tag team partner, my co-host, and the guy sitting 22 inches to my left. Precision matters. Chris, the Fashion Plate Barnes.
We'll see what the tape measure has to say about that.
I do have one.
Oh, okay. Here.
That's right. You are hearing another voice besides myself, David, and Chris. Oh, and she is actually getting the tape measure out.
This is great. Hold this.
What a weird start we're off to.
Aha, I'm actually 32 inches away.
32 inches.
Your lies have been exposed, Brafford.
My credibility is gone. I don't know how I can ever possibly recover it.
You were using wrestling numbers.
All right, but yes, so the tape measure that was just used to authenticate my weird tangent, or not, was provided by my wife, Gina, bless your heart, Brafford.
Hey, y'all, hey.
Co-host of This Is a Takeover and the guest on this episode of This Is a Work. That's right.
Yay, guests.
Chris and I have been talking, and we remember, previous episodes back in the day when you and dogs were doing this, would bring on a third person, just a voice to kind of add extra perspective to the conversation. And I think as we go into the last, 6 months of Roman Reigns' title reign, I think we should find some new stuff to say when we circle back to WWE.
We're not doing a retrospective.
No, not today.
But Gina, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. This is going to be a really, really fun time.
Yes, indeed. I normally mention the beverage I'm doing. I try to do something kind of themed to the show. Because it's been such a hectic couple of months, I really did not get anything together. I'm just enjoying a glass of Jim Beam Black Barrel-Aged Bourbon. Extra-aged bourbon. Just good, reliable stuff.
I'm going to say it in Shelby's voice. Gina, what are you drinking? Today, I am drinking Blake's Hard Cider, El Chavo, mango and habanero cider. It's delicious.
David, have we been getting any sponsorship offers and or inquiries by county health boards?
Like Blake's, please. Please, Blake's. I love you.
County health boards? Well, no, we can actually add them to the list of sponsors who have not reached out to us.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
I just thought
That's
they
okay.
would be talking about the things we're doing for liver disease in the area.
Yeah, AA. Anybody
Yeah.
like that? Yeah.
We are living examples of how to abuse your body.
Exactly. And what better show to talk about that than AEW's Full Gear 2023?
Boy, howdy.
All right, so
Let's get into it.
Yeah, just dive right into this.
Let's go.
Not a huge card by AEW standards, though it started at 8
It was,
o'clock.
but they got smarter. They put 3 on the pre-show.
Yeah,
3 on the pre.
And
3 on the pre.
most of the matches were under 15 minutes, so, things kind of moved along pretty well.
Not bad.
We start off with a defense of the Ring of Honor World Championship with Eddie Kingston defending against Jay Lethal. And
I just love this, man. I see Eddie Kingston, and I'm filled with joy. I just love him.
Eddie Kingston is a world champion. It's just one of those things that it has not stopped feeling good to say that.
No, I think it's just that there's no gimmick. Eddie's just walking out and is his real ass self.
The line on Eddie is that nobody's actually told him pro wrestling is fake.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
But yeah, fun match. Not a whole lot to say. I think Jay Lethal's another one of those guys who just you give him 8 minutes notice, he'll get out to the ring and just give you like a perfectly good across the board pay-per-view match. And
I just want to know who Satnam Singh's Taylor is.
Yeah, that dude.
That
was
funny to me because Jay Lethal with everybody in his corner.
Of course.
Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh, Karen Jarrett, they were all dressed to the nines. Like
Yeah.
they were going to a red carpet afterward. Jeff Jarrett came out in his black pants, tank top, and his gloves because he was there to do dirty deeds, dirt cheap.
Dirt cheap.
I still think he needs to come back in that the white outfit with the strips down the midsection.
He came out in a variation
iconic.
after he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. I don't miss it. I hate it every time it shows up.
I just don't miss him.
You can't miss him. He's not gone.
You know what? When you're right, boss.
He jumped from I think being a producer on a new WWE show to an Impact taping to his AEW debut in the space
Good.
of 3 weeks.
It was weird because
Gracious.
because he was back on board. He had gotten some kind of promotion, I think, in the shakeup, where I think Vince suddenly retired. Why? Nobody knows.
No, not a clue. We can't get into that one. Lord Jesus.
And that was the first time Vince McMahon retired / was forced out of his company.
Don't worry, he's old enough. Eventually, it'll just be death.
One can only hope. Anywho.
That will also not be the first time that has happened.
But Jared, I guess, saw a better opportunity, and I guess because I think they let him go. I think in some sort of shakeup, he was just gone.
Either that,
and
or
then he was on AEW within weeks.
Yeah, I think it also might have just been he didn't feel good about his position afterward. Or
Something
just
like
this
that,
might
yeah.
not be. If he wasn't being let go, it was coming down the pipeline. So, yeah, dude found
That
himself a good
man-
place to land.
That eternal Carney just can't resist being in front of the camera,
Lord have mercy. That is a spot
and I
on.
can't fault him for it.
No. But I mean,
That
this time.
man, you can tell has a very
His wife can help it though.
Yeah. That man has an eternal glee of just being in front of the camera doing silly shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's fair.
So yeah, fun match. Let's see, you had Kingston retains, pins Lethal. I think, was it after the match or before when he had backup? Because I think it was after he'd.
It was before. It was right at the conclusion
Okay.
because
Yeah.
And then so he's having to deal with the cheating from all sides, as is kind of the
Yes.
way this faction goes.
Oh, my favorite part was Kingston. It was Kingston and Lethal trying to crawl over each other to get to the guitar first.
Yes, I think it's put in. They're
Oh
both
my
trying to
gosh.
reach
It
it.
was very Looney Tunes-esque.
What is their budget for guitars? I want to know. I just want to know. I'm so curious.
Jarrett
there's
knows
so
a guy.
I'm pretty sure that's it.
Like a dude just shows up, opens a trench coat, and he's got a guitar hanging out on each side.
Hey, want to buy a guitar?
I'm pretty sure, he literally, whoever he has gimmicks them, he does them in bulk because he knows he'll always need one.
I mean, truthfully, probably.
But his coffin will one day be carved from the ones he hasn't used. But yeah, so at the end of it, Eddie Kingston gets some backup when Ortiz comes running out,
Yay.
formerly of Proud and Powerful. He and Eddie had kind of met up backstage at Rampage, and Eddie's a scrapper, but he knows that 5-1 are not good odds. So yeah, Ortiz comes out. There's a spot after the match where they're kind of Eddie's celebrating in the ring, and you're kind of waiting to see if Ortiz is going to turn on him because he's just finished up his singles feud with Santana. You're wondering what the direction's going to be, but that does not seem to be happening right now. They both celebrate. Eddie goes up the ramp to where RJ City, Renee Paquette, and Stokely Hathaway have been doing the pre-show, grabs a mic to talk about all the great stuff that's coming up, and then just points at Stokely, who'd gone to commentary and is about to come back over, telling him, "Stay where you are, you little bald-headed bitch." And Stokely, of course, is not...
He goes a few times. You gonna do something? You gonna come up
You
here?
gonna do something?
He's just coming over to do pre-show.
That was the best part. Yeah, he's part of the pre-show crew, and he'd been.
We didn't
Oh,
even
I
realize
know
it.
what it was. He was running down. He was running down Eddie Kingston on commentary, and
Yeah, because he's
and
talking
Eddie,
all this mad crap.
right? And Eddie must have heard it. The idea is Eddie heard it in the back.
But yeah, so for that entire next segment where Renee and RJ City are talking about what's coming up, Stokely is just staring at his feet, just looking
Like a
just
scolded
stewing.
child.
The most, oh my gosh, puppy-eyed, sad face.
It is literally like a 7-year-old who got scolded, and he's just stewing. It's
Yeah,
just-
Renee couldn't keep it together. She couldn't look at him. She could not.
he's stewing like he got scolded in public, and like his mom's talking to a
Yeah,
friend.
wait till your
you
dad.
stay right there and don't move.
Wait till your dad gets home.
Yeah, so good match. I give it 3. Yeah, it's a good opener. Wake people up. Kingston and Lethal deliver, and then we move on ahead to Claudio Castagnoli against Buddy Matthews, and really this is just kind of building what seems like a feud that they're setting up between the House of Black and the Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah. Which
It's going to end with them becoming the House of Blackpool Combat Club.
I'm here for
No.
it.
Renee and Julia are like meeting up and talking, and I'm just imagining like her
Well,
going.
mostly-
Imagining her going shopping with Renee Paquette and Brody King, and just the stores that each of them would be trying to take Julia Hart into to be like, this is what you need.
No.
And Brody's just like, here's another 3 gallons of face paint I found.
Fake blood.
Oh, they didn't need fake blood.
Well, not
We'll get
yeah,
there.
we'll get there.
But yeah, again, solid match. It's pre-show. There's not really much to the story between these two guys,
No,
except
not
they're
yet.
both really good workers, really fantastic athletes. And honestly, this sort of felt like a Dynamite match, kind of just leaving some stuff on the table for down the road.
Yeah, it's kind of felt like that for a little bit for him, and I'm not really a fan of that for Claudio.
There was a nice bit where
He was
Matthews...
also thrown in last minute, right?
I think it was just announced on Rampage, the
Yeah.
night before. Nice bit where Matthews actually hits Claudio with those anvil elbows that the Blackpool Combat Club usually do, where he's kind of reaching over the shoulder and just dropping the elbows straight into his chest.
Cheeky bitch.
So yeah, one of the first times.
Well, I think it is smart to do this to honestly, one, to keep more off the main card and put some on the pre-show,
No,
because this is the free one that they stream on YouTube
Yeah.
live,
Right.
and it's like, oh, and then they want, and that's good for showcasing people and to be like, hey, you're going to get more of this if you buy the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
One thing I've also come to appreciate that they've been doing with Claudio is his giant swing. It used to be something like he'd get the guy down on the mat, he'd do a moment, signal the crowd, and then pick them
Right.
up. And it's become something he counters people into. And
Yeah.
you would not think from this move that you could just casually segue into spinning somebody around by
he
their
literally
ankles.
caught someone one time and then was like, oh, here we go, spin.
I think that's the shift from doing it WWE style to doing it in his own style again, because WWE wanted to make it was when they decided to do it. It was like it's going to make it a big spot to get make the crowd cheer.
Big
you got to
pop.
stop, work the crowd, then you do it, then it's over. And now it's just like, oh, it could be any time.
But yeah, again, I gave this one 3 1/4.
Sure.
Again, solid. Ends with Claudio putting Buddy in the sharpshooter. There's some kind of back and forth. Matthews tries to crawl to the ropes, gets dragged back to center, eventually has to tap out. And yeah, pretty straightforward. Nobody comes out from either faction, I think. It's just Claudio makes his way
Yeah.
back up the ramp. But yeah, again, solid, good pre-show match.
Wasn't there an attempted handshake from Claudio? at the
Yes,
end?
that's right. Claudio does offer the handshake, and Matthews gives him the shoulder on
Yep.
his way out of the ring.
Like a
Not just
douche.
didn't do it, just like shoulder check.
And when that much of your upper body is shoulders, that has to really hurt. Let's see. All right, so then that brings us to our final match on the pre-show, the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships, defended by MJF against the Guns. Now, the other tag team champion, as we all know, is Adam Cole, but he has been out with an ankle injury for a few months. So at Wrestle Dream, MJF defended this in a handicap match, just defended it on his own successfully. But against the Guns, who are part of the same faction that he's defending against later tonight, he's needed a partner. So after going through just about everybody in AEW, who unfortunately remember that MJF has spent the last 4 years being the biggest tool on the roster,
Right.
Douche.
he literally cannot find anybody who will help him, apart from the Acclaimed, but
Who
they
are
got
now dead.
they got taken out by the Devil, who may or may not be MJF, but we can get into the Devil story a little bit later. All this to say, MJF's partner is none other than the until recent Ring of Honor television champion, Samoa Joe, who has vacated that title because he wants to go after the AEW championship. And in fact, his only reason for partnering with Max is because it gets him a world title shot down the road. So one thing I wasn't clear about going into this match was if they needed to successfully defend the titles in order for Joe to get a title shot, or if it would just be like, you come down, you're my partner, okay, thank you, you've got your shot.
I would assume yes.
Yeah, seems like that was the former, because Joe did seem like he was in the match all the way through.
Yeah, it's not
There
like he was
no-
like, oh, like, all right, I'm
Yeah.
out, deuces.
Yeah, he did. Let's see. There was kind of the usual, like they're not the Guns are a well-oiled machine. They're tagging each other, working, isolating, and working smoothly. And Joe will tag himself in. Max doesn't like that. Joe does get his great walk-away spot in. I think one of the Guns tries to do just a
Yeah, but-
standing drop kick, and Joe just turns and walks 2 feet to the side,
I know-
causing him to just plant on the mat.
I know this was not in this pay-per-view. But the last match where he did that, this is now a meme all over. It's not just like in the wrestling world. Like this is a meme like throughout, and people are using it as like me asking my boss for a raise, and then like my boss like stepping out of the way. And
you've probably seen it. It was John Cruz, who also wrestles as Serpentico sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's apparently the same
guy.
But he's coming off the top rope, trying to do like a diving tackle or something.
Yeah, Joe does his walk away, and he's mid shot of him going, "What the hell, man?"
Like, turning his head and shrugging in midair
but
before he hits the ground.
Non-wrestling people are using this as a meme now, which I am here for. Fantastic.
That's excellent.
Yeah, Joe has just been so revitalized. The last 8 months in particular, I think, just the last part of his run with the Ring of Honor TV title, and honestly as a contender for the AEW World title. It got lost in all the drama, but his match against Punk at All In was just amazing. Mm-hmm. And yeah,
Joe was amazing.
I wish they'd come up with a neater way for him to lose the TV title than just saying, I don't want this anymore.
Okay, but it does. Right. Well, I guess so, but at the same time, it does make him seem stronger in a way.
But it doesn't make the belt look stronger.
No. Well, I mean, it doesn't make it look weaker, though. He's kept it, he's defended it, and now at this point he says, I'm going to give this up because I have my eye on the top prize, on the biggest prize in the company.
And that's not without precedent. I mean, right. Austin did that with the Intercontinental title.
Yeah.
Back in the Attitude Era. I guess my main thing is they made such a huge point of Joe being like he'd set a record for his reign in this long, incredible run. I feel like when you've done that, you've got to use that to establish somebody else. I think in the same way that, if Roman just decided, I'm going to go make movies in Hollywood, okay, the Universal title is vacated, I would take this computer that's right in front of me and would just smash it into the nearest flat wall until I was holding, small pieces of plastic in my hands.
But now Tony Khan gets to do his his favorite thing ever, and that's have a tournament.
There will be a tournament.
A tournament.
Yeah, so I'll see where they go with it. I just mainly the last match he had before vacating was against Keith Lee, and that's another guy I've wanted to see.
Good gracious, Keith Lee needs a push so bad.
I want to pretend there was a creative meeting, and it's just like, so how do we get the belt off Joe while he still remains a strong contender, and then. And then it's just like they're discussing ideas, and then Tony Khan just starts hitting the table going, tournament.
It's like the meme of the History Channel guy. I'm not saying tournament, but tournament. But
Jeez Louise. I see his little excited eyeballs.
I like the chemistry between them because it was an interesting thing. They weren't actively working against each other, but they were like, no, I'll show you how to do it.
It's a douchey kind of teamwork.
Yeah,
is sort of where I'd put them.
It's like, oh, you did it that way. Let me do it this way.
It's very much the frenemy thing.
Yeah, like MJF at one point gets one of the guns, and I'll go ahead and say I can never tell which one is which. I know they don't look alike. I just forget which one has which name.
Because they're the ass boys. That's all that matters.
They're Austin and Colton. MJF gets one of them on the corner and tries to do Joe's muscle buster finisher, and as just deliberately in your face, and he gets hit with a drop kick before he can finish it. So the next time MJF's circling around to do his kangaroo kick, and Joe just tags himself in before MJF can do it. And
that was good timing.
Then they just face off like, all right, fine, how about this? Each one takes a gun in the corner and try to do simultaneous muscle busters.
Not going to make the joke.
Simultaneous muscle busters.
Well, in order to have dueling muscle busters, you need to each have a gun.
And I know of one team that can. Well, I'm not going to.
Yeah, so fun match.
Let it go.
Towards the end, the Guns are actually doing pretty well. I think they've isolated MJ. They isolated Joe in the ring, and then we hear the music of Adam Cole, who hasn't been actually in an arena, I think, since the week after he suffered his injury. He's been in a bunch of pre-tape segments and stuff.
Still the most
fresh from not loading the dishwasher, apparently.
That was such a good
Britt Baker, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, was not present at the show, but she was very present on Twitter. So Cole comes limping out on crutches. Both Guns turn to face him because he's obviously the biggest threat right now, and Joe immediately locks a coquina clutch on one of them from behind and gets the submission. So quick match. Joe actually shakes hands with MJF and just
MJF,
walks
yeah.
away.
Well, he admitted earlier on, like the last time, that he was like, you did what you had to do. Like, I respect that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the respect's there.
But he does, as soon as he walks out, both the Guns double team MJF and start beating the ever-loving crap out of him, and Joe does not turn around.
No. At that point, he's gone.
It's not his problem.
Nope.
Okay,
He did his
bye.
thing.
And Cole is out there on the side of the ring, and all he can do is just cry out helplessly from his crutches and just yell. And let's go ahead and talk about this now, because I feel like there are kind of two ways to interpret this.
Yeah.
Adam Cole is the devil. He's the guy under the devil mask. And this whole evening was him masterminding a plot to get himself in a position where he can challenge for and win the AEW championship without having to take it directly from MJF. In which case, him sitting outside the ring watching and then everything that happens after this makes sense.
Look, I love Adam Cole. It's not Adam Cole. If we're going to just go off of the devil's physique of the person who is literally in that, it is not Adam Cole.
It's also possible
It's
it's been
not.
different people at different times. They have said to, I think it's Fightful has reported that in all of the segments where the guy in the devil mask appears, the person under it is the person it is meant to be in story. They're not just using a local worker as a placeholder.
Right.
They're not saying it's just one person?
Right, so it could be that they will reveal that multiple people have been using the
Okay,
mask.
then that only furthers my plot. That literally only furthers my idea. You go ahead, though. I don't want to interrupt.
No, the only thing I was going to add is something I was thinking about previously, and that really the whole point of this angle, at least to me, is it's about the crux of MJF's character, and that is, about how the fact that he has essentially he's been an asshole to essentially protect himself against everybody. It's that idea of, if I'm the meanest person in the room, no one's going to try anything, no one's going to try to hurt me, and people aren't going to expect better of me. They'll be like, yeah, well, of course he's being that way. He's MJF, and he doesn't have to worry about things getting to him, because he's protecting himself emotionally. Because you saw the last public friendships he had with other people, it was like he obviously was using them for clout, or in the case of Jericho, they were manipulating each other.
They all ended with the relationship dissolving and MJF getting his ass kicked at a pay-per-view.
The inevitable but not surprising betrayal. And it's like, so this thing with Adam Cole, he thought I was probably going to go the same way. But I think the storyline to me is absolutely great, because it took this turn of, oh wait, no, I connect with this. I genuinely connect with this guy.
Yeah.
We're actually really good friends. And then it opens him up to this idea of I do want to try. I do want to be a better person. Maybe not the best, but a better version of me.
Yeah.
And it goes along with the whole "I'm your scumbag" thing. It's like I'm not changing everything about me. I'm not doing it a complete 180. But which is usually the best way to turn someone face, which is you take all of the terrible things about them, but you use them in a good way towards bad people.
I mean, that was basically the Undertaker as a face. He's a terrifying nightmare to people you already hate.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And so the crux of his character now is he's opened himself up. He's made himself vulnerable because he's willing to try, and I feel like the whole crux of this is, so what happens? It really does depend on who the devil is.
So y'all have decided it's one of these two.
No.
Oh, okay. Good.
No, I don't think they're going to say it's MJF. I
don't think it's MJF. I think because that makes it a more interesting story to me. Because if it's not MJF, it could be Adam Cole. I won't rule that out, but I don't think it is.
I don't either.
I think the idea to me that would be more interesting is Adam Cole starts getting suspicious of the idea that it could be MJF, but it's not MJF. So the moment of doubt happens.
Or the other way around.
See, that's what I think we'll be seeing it, because the devil did not appear at all on this show in person. A lot of people were expecting that.
And Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right, and that's part of it. I think it's just the idea is like I think that it's going to bring the moment of doubt between them, whereas like I thought we were past this. I thought we were actually being friends now, and it's that and it's gonna have a big decision. It's gonna have a big effect on how MJF as a character goes forward,
And Adam too.
Yeah, and because MJF is either going to hit the wall and be like, well, see, this is why I don't try to be anything other than an uber asshole to anybody. Fuck you. He withdraws back to himself. Or he's like, no, I'm not. I know I'm going to keep going this way out of spite because I'm not letting you change me. I'm changing me the way I want to change.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting because this angle really only works because of who MJF is.
Yeah.
So,
What's that good, babe?
well, that's what leads me to who I think the devil is, which
do you
is
Jungle
Roddy.
Boy.
Roddy.
Oh,
It could be.
I
Very well could.
absolutely think it is, and here's why. Because everything started,
Right.
and they became friends, but that's his best friend. So if it's going to be the same people that are, then the physique changes. Like they could have, the next strong boys. I can't think of their names.
oh geez,
The Kingdom.
Mike Bennett and
Yeah.
should I forget the other guy's
the
name?
next strong boys. That's not their name.
Also, hasn't it been? I have not been watching the weekly stuff, but hasn't it been shown that Roderick is?
Yes.
Yes,
and that's
he
exactly
has
what-
wrestled entire matches. He'll
Yes.
come down
Yeah.
to the ring in the wheelchair neck brace, take them off, struggle back to his feet, go in, work a completely normal, healthy match, and then
Beautiful, yeah.
immediately get helped back to the wheelchair.
Yeah. So that's exactly why I'm like, well, see, because this is what he wants. He's trying to get them pitted against each other.
Yeah.
And so that then furthers that angle. They don't even maybe have to like address the devil, and then later, like right after they have the fight, big camera moment, takes off the mask and it's like, I
Right.
won.
I do
won.
think I do think the way the story ends is MJF turns on Adam because he thinks he's the devil, and so he destroys the one positive relationship he's ever had, only to find out that no, it wasn't him. Which is a way that they can resolve this if Cole is not going to be cleared to do in-ring stuff in the next few
So that's
months.
why they're waiting. That's exactly
true.
why they're waiting.
See, yeah, that put things on hold because I think
Definitely.
because I think it would have happened sooner or been closer to a conclusion. But I think honestly, actually, that was part of it. I think what would have happened at one point is
But no, he had to just go shatter his fucking
there would if a real
off
injury
the
hadn't have
ramp.
happened.
jumped off the ring.
If it hadn't have happened,
foot.
there would have been a kayfabe injury to Adam Cole that would have been like this.
Probably.
That would have worked like this, and then led people to be like it would have been maybe devil related somehow.
Yeah.
And then they would have been trying to figure out, and then that's what would have led to the moment of doubt is like maybe it is still MJF who is worried that he's going to try and take his title again or something like that. But yeah, now real life kind of got in the way of that.
Yeah, so I gave that one 3.5. Good, good one. Definitely does the job because it ends with MJF.
Sets up a lot of drama for the rest of the night.
After taking a vicious beating, gets wheeled out on a stretcher, taken to the ambulance, and as they're loading him in,
They start attacking his quad.
Yeah. Oh, I should mention that. Yeah, they do. They
It's
hit him
important that, yeah.
hard on the leg with a chair shot. He's unable to
repeatedly.
walk out of the ring. He gets wheeled out to an ambulance, and as they load him in, he is shouting desperately,
Adam!
"Don't let him take my championship!"
My baby.
And they close the
My
ambulance
baby.
doors, and MJF is driven away from the
promise.
arena
I promise.
right as we start the
That
show.
was good, right?
It was so.
It was so good.
Very high drama all around.
I promise. So intense.
And so Adam Cole, who has grown himself a very grizzled beard in his recovery time, is
Hobo
just
Adam.
left
Adam.
on his crutches,
That-
just staring thoughtfully as that
Man,
as this
it's-
goes away.
It was so
And then
good.
Claudio interrupted in the back.
Yeah, Claudio just walks up to see what's going on. There's maybe they thought they were going
No,
to cut
he
away
was
a
walking
second
down.
earlier.
He was walking down the steps trying to exit, and he was just like, "Oh shit!" and walked back.
There are only so many hallways. People are
mean,
going to run
That's
into
that
each
segment
other.
is what makes me so happy about wrestling. Where he's like, I watch the goofiest shit,
Yeah.
and then I look at a segment like that and go, as a wrestling fan, this is silly.
But that's okay.
I know.
Oh, well, we'll get to
And
silliness
we
as well.
love it. And not so silliness.
That's actually been one of the things people have kind of talked about on this card is just kind of the tone whiplash all over the place.
Whatever.
We can kind
Whatever.
of go as we get in.
Fuck.
It's not tone whiplash to me. It's this match carries this emotional weight to it.
Yeah.
This match might as well have da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da behind it.
Yeah.
The emotional whiplash only carries as much as as long as it doesn't happen within the same match.
The trick is really to not have a very long attention span. As soon as you can just move into another emotional register.
Oh, maybe that's
all
why
good.
I really
That
did
was the
this one.
serious one. This is the fun one.
All right, so
Look
we start
here.
the show off proper with a trios match between the Patriarchy, TNT champion Christian Cage,
With
Luchasaurus, and
Children's
Nick Wayne.
choir intro. All little girls too. I mean,
No, I think there were two boys.
There were two boys. Okay.
Something
Yes,
like
a
that.
bunch
but
Well, the important thing is all their dads were dead.
A bunch of preteen children singing
they were
out.
forced into those adoptions.
And then there's a long list of the virtues of Christian Cage counting down. I don't think I got all of them.
Oh,
It's just
but you
like
got most of them.
inspiration, leadership, and just it's
Dad.
But yes, and they are taking on Adam Copeland, Darby Allin, and Sting. And they also, I will say, get a pretty cool entrance. Starts a little weird with the three of them touching the tips of their bats together
Just the
backstage. I mean, literally, they're holding baseball bats. And
Weird
anyway,
children.
It's not gay. Wrestling is not gay, you guys.
it's not gay if there's a referee present.
It makes me think of John.
Yeah, we were trying. Gina's brother was with us.
Shout
We were
out to John.
watching, I
Heyo.
think, All Out, and just trying to explain how, yes, it may seem like it has a homoerotic charge, but it's real. And then Dalton Castle came out
No,
for a battle
the
royal.
Acclaimed.
Oh, yeah, everyone
The
loves the
Acclaimed,
Acclaimed.
and he was like, "What in the flying fuck am I watching?" And I was like, "Exactly."
Well, wait, hold on. You haven't gotten through the entire entrance yet. Hold
You don't
on.
even know. He was cackling. He was crying. He was like, "This is weird."
Yeah.
But when
And we love it.
when Sting and Co. come out, they actually had a pretty cool thing where Sting has his normal
Sting
full
and
face
Co.
paint. I don't know if they have a faction name on
That
that,
sounds
but
like-
They don't, actually.
It sounds like a really hip bar.
But Sting has his full face paint on, and Darby and Adam Copeland each have a half of their face painted. Kind of a
Yeah.
neat bit of symmetry. I like it, even when they're not an established tag team. I like when they all come out with matching. They've clearly
I'm
coordinated.
surprised Dogs didn't make a comment about
No, he did.
that. Oh,
It wasn't. It wasn't as. But he said he did mention how much he liked that. It is great. I like team symmetry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when it works together, it flows.
Yeah.
And it's it's a fun match. I mean, I think again the miracle kind of continues that Sting, who is 63 years old, I think at this point.
Well, this is his retirement tour at this point. Yeah.
they've
Yes.
made that very clear.
Very clear.
But they
Which is fun by me.
But still, yeah, you're right. The fact that he is flinging himself around like this, and it's not sad and terrifying like Ric Flair.
Well, that's
who
what I
was
was going to
present.
say, because, before the three of them come out, Ric Flair comes out with his own little entrance and turns to welcome them.
Did not get the team memo about dress.
Not at all.
And when you see him on the outside, there's a segment where he's trading chops with
that
with
hurt.
Christian, and the dude can barely throw his right arm. It's just, and so you look at Sting in
What is
there,
he,
and you're just
99?
like,
He is Mum Ra the ever living.
he's in his 70s. He's a couple years ahead of Sting.
He's in his 70s.
Let me
He
double check
looks
that.
like he's 98.
74 years old.
Oh,
yeah.
this is what happens
He's
when
only
we don't.
2 years older than my mom. He looks. Gina's right.
looks
He looks
98.
20 years older than my mom.
That's
That
what
is what
I'm
happens
saying.
with a lifetime of styling, profiling,
And
wheeling,
coke.
and dealing, kiss stealing, help me
Jet
out.
riding.
jet riding, limousine flying. Wait,
Nope. Jet flying, limousine riding.
there we go. Wheeling and
Nailed it.
wheeling.
Son of a
See?
gun.
There we go.
We did it.
Woo.
We got there eventually.
Beautiful.
We're smart for wrestling
It's
fans.
But yeah, so
it
he
was
is.
a big five head.
You know
He
what's
is,
sad is I'm the one who's not drinking.
You've got to be the responsible one.
No, oh well, we're doomed.
But yeah, he is at ringside having reactions to everything that is going on. And
Oh, and boy, howdy did he.
That reminds me, I think a recurring segment on at least one show should just, we're going to have to get Dogs back in here and just do some pre-tapes where it's like, Ric Flair, what did you think of the match? And he just does his,
hit him on the chest.
because that's what Dogs was doing for the rest of the night after that.
I thought Shelby was gonna pass out. Oh my gosh. What was the one he said? The one reference he made about
I don't remember.
he was talking about specific people, like, oh yeah, he did this and this match.
Found Sandman sleeping
there
ankles
was-
first in a duster one time.
Well, one of my favorites was Harley Race pulled a gun on me once, and I went, only once?
that one.
I thought this was a fun match.
It was.
Open the crowd. You
It
get the
was
star
much more
power.
fun with Doug's commentary.
A nice thing that they're doing is that Christian and Christian and Adam Copeland never actually lock up in the ring. I don't think they ever. Either one actually lands a full move against
That's
each other. I
true.
think Copeland grabs at him a couple of times, but Christian immediately.
Christian is making the conscious decision of I'm not dealing with you.
Yeah, so you start off with kind of Darby and Nick Wayne.
Nick Wayne.
Nick Wayne throwing each other around, which I said this the night of. You've
Nick.
got Edge and dang it.
You know what's sad?
Adam
Nick
Copeland.
Wayne is too young to understand the Chappelle Show reference.
Edgeland.
He was.
You can call him Adam Edgeland.
that was mine. I was pretty proud of that one.
He was what, 5 years old when Flair retired? Oh my gosh.
The first time, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy that you've got Adam Copeland and Christian, who are both in their late 40s or 50s, Sting, who is in his 60s, and Ric Flair on the outside, who's in his 70s. And none of them were the people I was most worried about getting a serious injury this night, because you've just got Darby and Nick Wayne having a throw each other harder contest.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, it's and honestly, I mean, it's
Still,
good.
He's gonna die.
props to Nick Wayne. He got to be in a match to be thrown around by
Yes.
Adam Copeland, Sting, Darby Allin. He was standing by Christian. Like that's a hell of a way to get your career off the ground.
Even if he doesn't like directly work with Rick. I
Right.
mean, Rick's right there.
Rick's right
like
there,
that's
yeah.
pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Golly.
Yeah, so it's fun.
It was a good match.
Yeah, a lot of kind of they balance it out very nicely with like the younger, more like fully able guys handling a lot of it, and then just sort of Sting getting his spots in. Adam Copeland's looking pretty good, I think. He's shown up. He's doing the faster AEW style well. There's a
considering what he didn't want to do. The reason he didn't stick with WWE is he didn't want to become kind of like a special attraction / part-timer. He's shown up ready to do the job.
Yeah, he didn't want to be. He's like, I'm not at the Bill Goldberg phase of my career or the Brock Lesnar where it's just like you pay me every couple of months to show up, and it's like, oh, he's here. It's a big deal. Which,
I mean,
you kind of wish the guy currently holding their company's world championship had that attitude. But anyway,
look, I'm just gonna say, if you look at pictures of Adam before he left WWE and now, like he looks like he actually is eating.
Oh yeah, no.
The sunkenness of his face.
He had. I mean,
my gosh, he looked miserable.
He finally had time to recover, not just from the injury that threatened him, but also to recover from the road schedule of working with WWE.
He looked like he was half of a step away from Skeletor. Mm-hmm.
He was at ringside in a purple suit.
But
I think it's sort of like even when he came back at Royal Rumble, he just had this tremendously gaunt look to him.
Yeah, really, really.
And
like,
well, I remember
sickly.
I think it was something Mox said in an interview where he talked about coming back after his few months away from AEW when he was getting sober. And he was like, everybody said I looked so good when they came back. And I was like, well, yeah, I'd lost a bunch of weight because I wasn't drinking alcohol anymore. My calorie intake had changed, and all I could do was just work out. But I'd get in the ring, and I just felt like garbage because the only thing that keeps you in shape for wrestling is wrestling.
Yeah.
And you might not be like a super cut, like, not a carb on you guy, but a guy who's like built to do like a 25, 30-minute match is going to look different from a guy who's just got like a 6-hour workout each morning.
Yeah.
And I think Edge had kind of trained up so hard, and now I think we're kind of getting to see him like, okay, a nice, relaxing,
not
quote unquote
mind
relaxing
control pace.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's obviously still a lot of story to be told here because Christian does at one point get in the ring and try to hit Copeland from behind with the TNT title. He misses, hits the Luchasaurus. Copeland turns to chase him, and Christian books it through the crowd. And when I say books it, I don't mean he's just a few feet ahead. I mean he gets out of the ring, runs to the barricade. The camera swings back to follow Copeland as he gets out of the ring. And when he gets to the barricade, we see a shot, and Christian is a good 50 feet up the aisle.
He's already
full
almost
tilt.
at the exit. Like, he is almost at the exit, like, at the bottom of, like,
he
the ramp.
spent most of that match avoiding Edge so he could map out his escape.
All right, here are all my exit vantage points.
It's like, I'm going to make my shot. Damn it. Okay, gotta go. That's my time, people.
My one moment. And so, Luchasaurus ends up left alone in the ring. I think he takes a finisher from each of the other three guys and eventually gets
when is
pinged.
he going to turn on him?
It'll happen.
It's taking too long. It was supposed to happen like 3 months ago.
65 million years old. He's a patient creature.
75. No, what was it he corrected?
I think Darby said, he's like, you're 65 billion years old. And you hear in the background, million. But yeah, so I think he gets pinned by Darby after a coffin drop.
Yes.
So yeah, they win, celebrate in the ring, and then Darby grabs the microphone to remind everyone that this is Sting's final match in California, and the crowd gives him an ovation and some thank you Sting chants, which is nice.
Other people were making jokes being like, oh, it's because he just hates you. That's why he doesn't want to be here anymore.
It was.
Done with all you people.
He's not retiring. He's just tired of your shit, California.
I know why he did it, and
I know.
And it was, that was fair, but Darby Allin,
specifically you.
No, Darby Allin had this tone of like a school teacher who is angrily reminding a class.
Let's be nice to Mr. Sting. He came here today to educate all of us.
Twitch.
Yeah.
Hi, Twitch.
And I think Sting deserves all this applause because the dude
of
is
course.
Absolutely
amazing
Of
career,
course.
and it's
I just appreciate he's taking this a safe route.
no.
It's funny to me as I think Sting is going to retire and he'll actually be fine. I don't think he'll have that itch to come back.
I think
Yeah.
he's gonna be like
Yeah.
I don't like even if he doesn't want to leave full like
Yeah.
the whole career,
Right.
like he'll be fine.
I don't
Like,
think he was planning to really get back in the ring when he came back the first
no,
time. I think that was
think
just.
he was supposed to be backstage, right?
Well, I think they would have him like show up,
Pair him with Darby.
coach
be
Darby,
be a coach.
and maybe do like one or two of those kind of cinematic matches where they can film ahead and sort of work around it. But
I do miss those. Those were fun.
And then
the
something
world of
happened and he got the
COVID.
bloodlust. So.
Or he got told by
And
Tony
we're
to do
all
it.
the better for it.
yes.
yes, indeed. I mean, I think we've just seen so many cases of. I mean, I have every prayer for Mark Calloway's happy health and retirement, but The Undertaker was just a shambling like skeleton of a man for the
Dead
last
man walking, you
6
say?
years.
But number 2 count for Chris.
He was like an undead Benjamin Button. Like he just got closer to the grave the longer that he was.
I mean, he is looking better now.
He is. Retirement seems to have finally eased up on him. All right, so after that match, yeah, again, good crowd opener, good energy. I gave that one 3.5. Yeah,
Okay.
just solid, good story. So we have actually a segment now with Tony Schiavone at the top of the ramp, joined by Jay White, announcing that because MJF is injured and not able to compete tonight, they have no choice to, by default, and I'll admit, this is where I'm kind of annoyed, because if the champion is not able to
This
defend
is a
his
weird
title,
stipulation. This is a weird
then
stipulation.
the challenger just has to challenge you,
I am
okay?
so sorry, y'all.
Gina could not hold her opinions back any longer.
I was opening my mouth to make an annoyed noise, and out came with this terrible.
There it was.
You can't edit that one, David.
This whole
Yeah,
feud
sip
with
your whiskey.
MJF and Jay White has kind of been stretching my affection for the insane rules that wrestling operates under, because Jay White just stole
'cause
the
that's-
belt physically.
That's
like,
not a normal one. That's
Yeah.
not a normal.
like he has stolen the physical title belt. He's never beaten MJF
Yeah.
in a singles match. He's
No.
just stolen it from him and is running around refusing to give it back.
Yeah.
They had an 8-man tag match where Jay White did pin him, and the stipulation there was he had to return the belt if they lost. They won, so the referee takes the stolen belt and hands it to him, and it just starts to feel like, wait.
If Bryce hadn't have touched it and Jay just grabbed
Yeah.
it, would have been fine.
Yeah, it's the fact that AEW officials are getting involved in actively
And come on, Bryce,
helping
you know
him.
better than that.
Yeah.
Right. And this is the kind of thing where it's like, oh well, the champ can't defend, so it goes to the challenger. That's the only.
No, then it's postponed.
Well, here's the
You
thing.
wait.
What they were about to do, which was award Jay the belt, the
Yeah.
actual title, that's usually reserved for when a champion is a chicken shit heel.
Yeah.
And is like he's running away from a challenge, so it's like
Or
okay.
it's like serious.
It's like this is the only way we will get you in the ring is
right.
by telling
it's like
you.
if if you're unable to compete, or
Yeah.
that's when they do things like, oh, it'll change hands on a count out or a DQ.
Right. Instead of just being like, well, he like your buddies attacked him and left him unable to fight, so now you just get the championship. That felt weird.
Yeah.
I will say the positive thing about it was seeing Jay White jump around like a kid with a golden ticket.
Dude, he was freaking obnoxious. I mean, I loved it. I loved every moment of it, but man. I thought Shivani was going to throat punch him at one point. He was so close.
He's like an angry parent who's like, you can't discipline this child because it's not his.
He's like, I'm this close.
So he's like, shut up, kid.
So close to backhand this bitch.
Before he can do that, Adam Cole's music hits again, and he comes out on his crutches.
His big super well thought out plan to stop them from taking his title.
I'ma fight you.
Is to announce that he will defend Max's title if Max can't do it himself. So now the world title is on the line between Adam Cole and Jay White.
And Adam Cole's crutches, because look at them, they're right there.
Yeah, neither of whom is actually the world champion. There was some confusion on Twitter at this point as to where things were going.
And one of whom recently had double ankle surgery.
Yeah. But so I'll go ahead and say I like it when there is a running story through a pay-per-view. I think that can add some fun. One of my favorite pay-per-views of all time is I think it was the '98 Survivor Series where they had that tournament leading up to the world. Like that is one of the best booked shows just in terms of a start to finish story I've ever seen.
Right, yeah.
This one,
a through line is always good.
Yeah. I think maybe, and we can talk about it more when we get to the main event, this one I think might have added a few more twists and turns to a story that would have been pretty good if they just went on its own.
You know what? Even if they had said, like, let's say, for example, like Shivani came out and said, this match has been postponed. Mm-hmm. And then, like, until we hear of the champ's, like, status, whatever. Even if Adam Cole came out and was like, you know what? No. MJF would want this defended. So I will step in and be MJF. Like, that's all it had to be.
But it's still just a main issue of, like, who is defending the title here? Neither of these men is the champion.
That's fair.
Also, who's authorizing this? None of these men are in the position to...
At some point, they say backstage, Tony Khan has made it official, but it would have been kind of hilarious if Tony Khan has made it official. Nothing those guys said count. That's not how this works.
They're idiots.
But yeah, so again, we can get into a little more when we get to the main event. But so that's kind of what they've set up, and they're.
I just love Tony Schiavone just to take out his phone. He's like, hang on, Tony Khan just texted me. He said he told both of you to shut up. That's not how this works.
Shove it.
He asked me to take out the water bottle that I'm being handed right now and spray both of you until you go away. All right, so we continue the actual card with Orange Cassidy defending his AEW National Championship against Jon Moxley.
I feel so bad. The other day I called him straight OJ. I felt so bad. I was like, hey, I am excited for this OJ match. And I was like, wait a minute.
He had an OJ match.
I was like, that's terrible. That's not what I meant. But orange juice, that's what I meant. But okay. Oops.
So yeah, Cassidy defending.
The orange did juice.
This is his first singles match with Moxley since the main event of All Out, where Mox defeated him and took the title. I loved that match.
Yes.
I gave it 5. It was only the second match I've given one of those to since I've started this. And I admit there was a part of me that was just kind of like, this whole thing got kicked off because Mox suffered a legit concussion during a title defense and called an audible to lose the title in the ring right there.
I'm so glad we're all going in this safer direction, by the way. Thank you guys, making these choices, but we can talk about that later.
I was not sure how I would feel about this one because it felt a little bit jury rigged, but if this match didn't live up to the last one, it's just because it didn't have that much story momentum. It was still a really good match between these two.
I mean, what was it we were talking about the other day, Robert? We were talking about Eddie Kingston did a promo a little while ago. I can't remember for what, probably ROH, but it was essentially like him talking smack about the other people, like other champions. Yeah. Like no names, but where they don't, they're not the workhorses. Like Mox is a workhorse. Orange Cassidy is a workhorse. Like these people who are it's not just about being a champion. And I was just like, you know what, you're right. Orange Cassidy deserves that. Mox has clearly been the leader for a while, but to have him throw in Orange Cassidy in there too for being the longest reigning
I think he had the most
Intercontinental.
defenses. I think he had I don't think it was the longest time, but he had the most, the highest number of successful title defenses.
So I mean, I don't know. I appreciate hearing
I think
his name
the,
up
the,
there.
whole, the whole storyline on Orange's side was let him take a nap, please.
Like, the him with Renee.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm just so tired.
Me too, buddy. Me too.
And honestly, that's kind of what this story's been, is that, like, Mox beat him pretty decisively because he was just a wreck of a person after that really long, really dragged out title reign. And now we come back into it, and he's had time to rest and heal up, but like Mox is just like, you couldn't beat me then and you can't beat me now. And on the build up to this, you had bits where like Mox would almost no sell an orange punch. Like he just was taking Cassidy's offense and just coming back for more. And like they would just show like Cassidy's starting to be like, maybe I can't beat this guy even at 100%. And well, again, it's only a 12-minute match, but the story they told in this of just Mox just hitting him with, slams, hitting him on the barricade, just attacking, getting up, hitting him again, and just Cassidy not being able to get any offense in until he finally gets the crack in, because Hook is with him at ringside. Mox comes out with Yuta, Hook comes out with Cassidy.
Oh, Yuta started some major crap with that one.
And on their match in Dynamite, at one point, Hook got Moxley in the red rum, and Mox visibly panicked until he could make it to the ropes. So Cassidy puts the red rum on Moxley, and Moxley again freaks out, grabs blindly for the ropes, and gets his hands on in the corner and takes the turnbuckle pad off, just in like his blind flailing.
Beautiful moment. Like you couldn't have timed that any better. It was so good.
And in just a moment later, Cassidy positions himself in front of that turnbuckle, does the hands in the pocket spot. Mox charges at him, and Cassidy just moves, and Mox slams headfirst into that turnbuckle. Takes a moment to step back and recover, and then gets a drop kick from behind and slams into it again. And just like, because
that was it.
He just found the weakness in the armor. Whoop, sorry, I just yanked the headphones a little bit. And just hits him with, I think it was 6 consecutive orange punches. And Mox gets back on his feet after like 4 of them, but finally can't get back up.
Yeah, it was an echo of the previous match where Mox just demolished him at the end of the match.
Like he was just throwing offense after offense, but clearly getting weaker and weaker and just eventually getting worn down. And this one, he just finds the energy to keep delivering at the end. I love that story. I just love the strategy, and just a reminder, which none of us should need at this point, but Orange Cassidy knows how to tell a story in a wrestling match.
He's so good. Jim Cornette, suck on my nards. You can suck on my nards.
I'm going to need all of you to stop hitting my equipment for various reasons, please.
Hey,
it looked funny.
I'm doing great.
Gina, you're the only one doing great. Thank you, honey.
Thanks. I'm trying.
Robert and Chris, stop yanking on things. Stop hitting things. Do not, Chris. I swear to fuck.
What? I didn't do anything. You
Robert,
can't prove it.
Do not deep throat my microphone.
I was just gonna bite it a little.
I'm pouring myself another glass of bourbon, so I think that'll help me out a lot with the responsible management of the electronics.
It's gonna do wonders for his hand-eye coordination.
Yes. Yes. Bourbon is amazing for coordination.
Would you like another glass, by the way?
How am I doing here? I think I might get a refill here in a minute.
I was just gonna say.
Hold on, I'll throw it.
No.
You don't need to stop on my account. I'll be right back.
All right, Chris stepping out for a minute. But yeah, so
Orange Cassidy.
Orange Cassidy.
Suck on my nards. Not Orange Cassidy.
I was going to say, babe.
No, I want Cornette to suck on my nards because he's wrong. Orange Cassidy's amazing. Mox is also amazing. So all y'all marks out there for Cornette, you're wrong. Sorry. Not sorry. They're awesome.
Waiting for a moment. I don't hear dogs cocking a gun.
I don't hear Jamie either. Haha, I know you're listening, Jamie.
I was waiting for dogs to just burst through the wall like the fucking Kool-Aid man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, you did not say that about Cornette. Yeah, so, again, good match. Couldn't quite live up to their one from the previous.
No, solid 4 Regals for me.
I gave it 4 as well. Just good storytelling. Given that this was an accident, that this was like that, I feel like this was probably supposed to be Moxley defending it again and Cassidy coming to reclaim the title. Mm-hmm. I think they worked it around very neatly, and it becomes this thing of, Cassidy wondering, am I really the champion? Do I deserve this? And proving to himself and to all of us that, yes, he does.
He does.
All right.
So, I just Thought Mox and Cassidy ran it back really well. Couldn't quite live up to the first one, but
4 Regals from
yeah,
me.
4 from me as well. And
Next up, we have.
Orange Cassidy won. That's what I care about.
That's right.
one note on the interlude, because we get a backstage segment where Jay Briscoe announces that he will be competing in the Continental Classic. So
This man.
at this point, we have
bless his heart.
him, Bryan Danielson, Andrade, and before the evening is over, Eddie Kingston will also announce that he's participating. So that's 4 participants, and it starts on Wednesday. So they're going
And
to
this
have
is
to.
apparently for a new title?
Okay, so Kingston
Yeah, good
during
explanation, yeah.
during his interview,
Don't tell.
during his segment when Eddie Kingston also announces that he'll be competing,
Yeah.
he mentions, or he says that he'll be putting his Ring of Honor World Title and his New Japan
Yes.
Strong
Right,
title
Both
right.
on the
titles.
line for every match.
Every
which,
match he's in.
Wow.
which
Yes.
confused people a little bit because they're like, so is that just for all of Eddie Kingston's matches? Tony Khan has since come out to clarify that what was meant was the winner of the Continental Classic will be the Ring of Honor title and the holder of the New Japan title, as well as the title of Continental Classic champion. So the winner of the
Eddie, not your best explanation, but that's okay.
What he means is the titles are on the line in the tournament, and that's what he's thinking of with every match, I'm assuming.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically whoever wins this tournament is a Triple Crown champion. They'll hold a belt in Ring of Honor, they'll hold a belt in New Japan, and they'll be recognized by AEW as this Continental Classic champion.
Damn.
Which sounds
Okay.
kind of like the Owen Hart tournament thing, where it's like you win it and you're recognized,
Yeah,
but
not
it's not
like-
something you defend or that you can
Yeah,
lose.
it's like the diamond ring that
Yeah.
no one else but Max will ever have ever.
And they've announced a point system on this that it's like
Point system?
You get a certain number of points for a win, a certain number of points for a
no.
draw.
I can't
no,
do
but
math.
But it's interesting. It's kind of like the pure matches they have in Ring of Honor, where they said
It's kind of set up like points, how points work in the football club they have, the soccer outfit they have.
yeah. So like if you win several matches,
I'm not going to bother trying to keep
I
up
was
with
going to
it.
say, I was like, oh.
I'm sure Twitter will account that for us, but. Yeah, so it's an interesting idea. They've said that there will be nobody allowed at ringside, so there's no possibility of interference.
Okay, so it's
No
getting a little more
fans.
pure.
Yeah.
No fans. Nobody.
Yeah,
Back to
so-
COVID times.
Commentators hit the bricks.
Oh,
Yeah, very very much modeled on the G1 that New Japan does. I think just as it's kind of blatantly Tony Khan's gift to Bryan Danielson and his last full year in wrestling. But you know what? It's a gift to us all.
Good for old Cyclops.
Exactly.
That was like the most surprising thing. It's just like
what is that? Where did he get that rag
He
from?
broke a new bone in his body. This one's in his face. What do you
It's
expect?
his eyeball. He broke his eyeball.
the orbital bone. He broke the thing holding in his eyeball.
Oh, are you serious? I
Yes.
thought- oh my gosh, are you? How? He's gonna run out of things to break.
Well, that's what it's a race against time.
Reminds me of
Like, will
that
he be able
joke
to
about
retire?
is like about
really
a missing cat, and they list all these things of deficiencies that the cat has, and his answers to Lucky.
Oh, Shelby, if you're listening, that's even funnier because your cat, Lucky, was something else.
Well, speaking of gifts to us all, the next match is the AEW Women's Championship with Hikaru Shida defending against Timeless Toni Storm.
Y'all, she is everything Lacey Evans was supposed to be.
That's
That's exactly what she was, man. And oh my gosh, I'm so happy for her.
This whole
She's
thing.
just the best.
Well, see what makes it work now is it's on Tony Storm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the gimmick of her being like just going off on this deep end craziness after
Norma Desmond.
as the Outcast fell apart. I thought this would just kind of keep building and building and eventually like they'd run out of ideas, but they've hit exactly where it needs to sit for a while.
It's at the pinnacle. It's
so
perfect.
She's got her butler who accompanies her around
Luther.
with shoes on a pillow. She literally the camera changes to black and white when we go into her locker
She had
room.
a feather garter
Yeah.
on her leg. Like, how do you even get a feather garter? Like, everything is feathers on. It's black and white. Everything is perfect.
What I love is she comes out in black, like the camera goes black and white for her entrance, and she goes to the ring, and then we go back to the hard cam, and her outfit actually is all black,
and
white, and gray.
And the only thing that has color is her red lips.
Yep.
It's the attention to detail that just makes me very happy.
Yeah, I love Shida, and I think she is an absolute workhorse of the women's division. But man,
She wasn't
I feel
given enough in this one.
the problem is it's like, here's a belt, have good matches, and she does, but she always loses to somebody who's just telling a better story, or just connects with the crowd, or gets ahead of the pack in a certain way. And Sheeta, she's a 3-time AEW Women's Champion, but somehow still feels just kind of wildly underappreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But this match, how many times did you try to cheat?
quite a few.
Yeah, Tony tried to cheat, like 4 times, and it's like, it doesn't matter.
And-
We love
Well,
Tony.
the best part, some of the best parts was when she goes to take the shoe and the ref catches her.
She had the other one.
But the shoes come in pairs, so she had the other one tucked away. So when the ref took that one and put it outside, she had the other one ready to go.
When you say tucked away, what we mean is we saw her step to the outside, and Lutha comes up and just pulls back the back of her trunks, drops a shoe down her shorts,
Yep.
and then puts the other one in her right hand.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's and it is not the last time she will use her own trunks for storage space.
Hey. And not just for the junk in her trunk. Hey. Sorry.
No, but
I
unfortunately,
mean that with the most respectful
Also,
way.
literally-
There was
there were-
foreign junk in her trunk by the end of this match.
Yes.
Well, that sounds weirdly
That-
xenophobic.
What?
But yeah, so I thought this was fun. Again, Sheeta does well. They trade some chops. Like the wrestling itself is good, but they're like
Tony's
it's hard
a great
not to
wrestler.
it's hard not to get swallowed up by the gimmick and how much fun it is with that part.
Yes.
especially because the entire end sequence was her trying to position I don't remember what it is.
It's like a metal plate or a
Metal-
tray or
It's
something.
the tray that had the.
Oh, yeah, that
it's
makes
the
sense.
tray that had the
So
pillow
she-
on it.
So she goes to put it, because her finisher
Oh
involved
my gosh, I was.
It's a running hip attack is what
Yeah.
they call it.
hip
It's a booty
attack.
bounce is what I call
Right.
it.
And she goes to put the metal tray into her trunk / fishnets to use the hip attack to knock Sheeta out. It proceeds to shimmy down her.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
it's
they're-
immediately coming out like the bottom of the shorts. And, like it manages to stay in position, but it's like
I forget who
clearly-
the ref was, or they immediately.
Aubrey.
It was Aubrey. She had to pretend not to see it.
So
the
it's
whole
because
time.
she winds up in the corner. Tony does the running hip attack, hits her in the face, and then sits on her for the pin. Aubrey gets into position, and her face is just right next to it. It's really, and honestly,
Counting the pin, checking your teeth.
yeah,
Yep, use my lipstick here.
This all looks above board, and 3.
yep, and indeed, with a 3 count, Tony Storm becomes your
And
AEW
new.
Women's Champion. I believe this is her 3rd time with the title as well. So she's tied with
I'm
Sheeta for
doing
that.
math in my head.
Because she had it,
That's a poor way to go.
she won
Yeah.
it.
Math anywhere
She won
is
it from
bad.
Thunder Rosa. Had the interim championship that they later
Right,
recognized.
right.
There it is, the
Then-
interim that actually was counted.
That's like a lifetime ago
Yeah.
with this gimmick
Good
because
gracious.
She's tied.
there's almost 2 different people.
Yeah, guys, if you don't know the reference she's making, go home and watch Sunset Boulevard. You're going to
She
understand
is-
everything.
The character
great
she is
movie.
playing is a reclusive, past her prime, silent movie film star
Yes.
who got pushed out of movies when talkies came in.
Yes. That's literally everything.
Yeah.
The line she says is literally from the movie.
I'm
I'm ready for my
I'm
close-up.
Mr. Khan, I'm ready for my close-up.
At the scrum afterwards, she was not able to join Tony
The-
Khan. to
I
talk,
saw the
but
note.
she had
I
a
saw
letter
the note.
delivered to him. Dearest Anthony, I had to jump on an aeroplane to visit
She
Peter
said
Lawford's
aeroplane.
village.
Aeroplane. You know, he had to
AERO.
stop himself because he saw the spelling of it and was like, I have to hang on. I'm sorry. Aeroplane. I love her.
Yeah.
I love her.
There's a part of me that would have been fine if Sheeta had retained this, because
Yeah.
Tony is, if she
Yeah.
loses, she just gets crazier and it's fun.
Right.
I think they're now, because they brought it up at the end of the match, they're bringing up her fangirl.
Yes, so Mariah May, who has just come over from New Japan, or not
Yes.
New Japan, I think Stardom,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
has
but from
joined
Japan.
AEW, and it seems to be positioning herself in the All About Eve relationship to Tony's
Yes.
Sunset Boulevard. That she's just her biggest fan, and she comes out with
So
a
many
bouquet of flowers
references
for
I
Tony.
love.
I think she's swell.
Yeah,
Just so swell.
and
the
when
bee's knees.
when she turns, she's gonna turn bad.
Oh, yeah. Because if y'all know the movie, you only know it's going to get worse from here. It's going to be rough.
Yeah, so I enjoyed that match. Not too long, but I gave it 3 3/4.
I mean, if I could give it story 5, I would always. But yeah, match yourself. Yeah, you're right. 3.
Tony Storm is doing like the work of a lifetime. Like
The
this,
Lord's work.
She is eating up a role that like wrestlers would kill to get.
Yeah, absolutely.
The way
I
it's,
mean,
the way
actors
it's over,
would kill
the way,
to get it.
yeah, the way it's over, the
actually,
way the
no.
crowd reacts to it.
I was looking at the wrong thing. Sorry, I gave that 4 1/4. Actually,
Okay.
because
There
I
we
was
go.
like, wait, that
I
can't be
mean,
right.
dang.
No, I definitely scored the storytelling higher on that one.
Thank you.
Okay, 4 1/4. I will update my lists accordingly. But yeah,
That's right. You do that for her.
after this is where we get the interlude where Eddie Kingston also announces that he's in the Continental Classic, and there's that confusion about his titles possibly being on the line.
That is a man who just sows chaos and confusion.
Speaking of chaos
With
and
joy.
confusion, we have a 4-way ladder match up next for the AEW Tag Team Championship with the champions Ricky Starks and Big Bill.
We need to prepare you for what's going to happen
Good
later.
gracious.
versus FTR versus La Facción Ingobernable, Rush and Dralistico versus the Kings of the Black Throne, Malachi Black and Brody King.
Man, I did not pick the winners of this one.
Yeah, no, this
Not
one,
at all.
This card, I got a lot wrong in my guesses. I'll admit that. I thought House of Black was going to have a better night than they did.
Me too. Sure did.
I didn't think Buddy Matthews was going to win, but I did think that they were coming home with the tag titles. This is a hard one to talk about without just it becoming a long list of spots.
It was wild. This
Yeah.
is fun.
It's a
Watch
great ladder match. Everybody gets a chance to show. We were a little distracted when we watched it live because this is when Dogs really
Was really
ramped
getting
up
into
his
Rick-
thoughts
He was
about what
feeling
Ric Flair
himself.
was saying
Yeah.
backstage. But no, it's just like a lot of great moments. Really does for a match with 8 guys in the ring. Everybody I thought got some nice moments to really show off what they can do. I think Rush has been looking great recently. I think he's similar to Andrade. He's just refined kind of the lucha style into a really, really hard looking offense. Like when he does his like running tackles or like kicks in the corner, he seriously looks like he's trying
When
to
he
kill
was
the
on
guy.
that break for a really long time, like the crowd was chanting, like, "Where is Rush?" Like for forever. So he's clearly made it. He's over.
Who had the ladder spot where it was from the ring to like the announce table?
Where it was like set up between the apron, where they have
Yeah.
it like. So that was Brody King and Dralistico. He
Right.
like puts him over his shoulder and does like a over the shoulder tombstone onto the ladder, and then they both roll onto the floor outside. And because that somehow does not knock the ladder out of position.
No, it did not.
Brody gets knocked back onto the ladder, and Cash Wheeler does a splash to the outside.
That
bounces off
was
him.
the one. It was like they were determined to break that ladder.
Oh,
Oh
and
man. And I don't think they
And
did.
poor
I think-
Brody, he was just trying to have a little nap in what he
Gosh.
assumed was a hammock.
I'm gonna take a nap. I'm gonna take a nap right here.
Yeah, the ring announce table did its job holding up that ladder, which it will not do for the rest of the year. But
That probably led to the problem later. But
Yeah.
That bet is yep.
yeah, there's
But,
a great bit where early in the match, Rush and Cash Wheeler both climb up to the top of the ladder. They meet, and this is the classic spot where you just start throwing hands at each other until one of you falls off the ladder. But instead, they just both climb back down, both pick up the ladder, set it out of the side, and then start beating the
fight
crap
like
out of
as
each other.
God intended. Like they know how this goes. It's like, oh, one of us is going off this ladder. No.
No, you know what? No, we're ending this today. We're breaking this cycle.
Yeah. It was not. I think it was only about a 15-minute match, or no, actually no, sorry, it was just over 20 minutes. So pretty long, but it just moved very quickly. A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It was.
I do think, even though they didn't win, which I thought they did, I thought both Malachi Black and Brody King got to look like some of the most dangerous guys.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
I mean, they are.
What Malachi did a thing that I don't know that I've seen before, but I thought was great. The ladder got knocked out of position and was leaning against the ropes. Cash Wheeler hits Malachi. He goes against the ropes as well and is leaning on them. Cash bounces off the far ropes, and as he's coming at him, Malachi just jerks the ropes in front of him, causing the ladder to fly out.
Oh,
in
yeah.
action.
Nice.
And I was just like, oh, that's really smart, actually.
It's smart. It's good ring awareness. It's
That's. I wouldn't say ring psychology, but
it's using it's basically just that
awareness
kind
of the space.
yeah, basically that he has a good enough sense of like, oh, this is the perfect time to
Yeah.
use this.
They do make us wait for Big Bill and Brody King to actually lock up, because they're kind of just tied up in like their separate flurries for a while, and then finally when they do lock eyes, they're both outside the ring on opposite sides. they climb in, and let's see, did they grab the ladders? No, they start attacking each other, and then Dax and Roosh hit them from behind with
Right.
ladders to finally break it up. They did get a meat chant from the crowd, which I
Yes,
would
it did.
Meat.
I will not be sad if that's a regular thing for AEW
I would
going
love that.
forward. But yeah, great match. Everybody got to show off everything. The Lucha guys got to do their flying. The FTR got to do their great team stuff. Eventually, it does end up with Ricky Starks and Cash Wheeler make it to the top of the ladder. Ricky just clocks him in the face with one of the hanging belts, unhooks them. Not the most splashy finisher, but honestly,
No, but honestly, that kind of works sometimes. Where
Yeah.
it's just because it's supposed to be such a big mass of chaos. It's like, oh God, he got it. Okay.
Yeah,
oh.
the other 5 of the 8 guys are barely able to get back to their feet. These are the last few making it. Nope,
Yeah.
this guy got it. So
He just actually ran up the ladder and grabbed the stuff.
So-
he did it.
good for Ricky Starks. Honestly, I'm glad that
Yeah.
He's awesome.
they've course corrected after what was obviously meant to be a very different autumn for him.
Yeah, and it's good that they're really putting over that it just wasn't like a one-time fluke.
No, that it was because
Yeah.
he earned it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I gave it 3.5.
Yeah, that's fair.
Angle's a little weak just because
Yeah.
there's not really a big story for the.
Yeah, no one had like immediate beef.
It's weird that they've put more story into the match that's coming up with Jericho and Omega versus the Young Bucks,
Yeah.
who are just fighting over a number 1 contender shot
This was
than they have over the actual titles being defended.
a boring match.
What?
This next one was a boring match.
Oh no, we're not to that one yet. That was a
Oh,
little
sorry.
further
I
down.
thought it was
like,
what we were
the
talking about
ladder
next.
match? Oh,
No. I'm talking about the Jericho match.
Oh.
If that's what we were talking about.
yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I gave that one 3.5. Just
Yeah.
again, solid ladder match. Just everybody got to show off. Good time. So now we get to the second women's match on the card. Yay!
Yay!
A triple threat match with Chris Statlander defending the TBS Championship against Julia Hart and Sky Blue. I thought Julia Hart was going to win this back at Wrestle Dream, I think. So I was not totally surprised by the outcome. In fact, I was pretty sure that the whole reason it was a triple threat was that so that Sky Blue could take the pin, Statlander loses the belt without actually suffering a pinfall or submission.
I put this as my joker for Wrestle Talk. And I'm very glad I did.
Nice. For all that, I still had a great time with this match.
Yeah.
I think Statlander, just another absolute workhorse, just tremendous athlete, always looks great in there. Sky Blue is getting more comfortable. I
Yeah.
think she's still got some rough spots.
She's growing.
Yeah.
She's growing.
But Julia Hart is just,
She's unreal.
at 22 years old, just the level of ring confidence and character she has, and just the ability to work the camera
That's crazy, man.
the way she does. It's
I want her hat.
Her hats are fantastic.
I follow the lady on Instagram.
I still can't get over how often when Julia Hart goes into angry mode, she hunches her
She
shoulders.
does.
She hunches her shoulders and just with this exaggerated mean face. It's like somewhere. It's like Nosferatu. It's just,
It's like when like the montage in all the movies where they're like, all right, you've got to act this certain way, and it's like the very wimpy character going, "Rawr. No, you got to do it like this, Rawr." Like that. And it's like I'm imagining Brody King like when she first joined being like, all right,
It's just weird
all right, honey,
because
you gotta go roar, like make a roar, and she's like,
she just purposefully sinks her head into her shoulders.
But honestly, she's she does fun stuff with
She really does.
There's a bit where I think Sky does a drop kick on Statlander, who hits the ground, rolls, and comes up near the corner, and Julia is just
Oh,
hanging
yeah.
there.
Yep, she has been the whole
Yeah,
time.
just hanging by her knees, just her feet.
It's like
her
when
face.
Sky Blue ends up face to face with her, and she's just like, "How's it going?"
so
Yeah, she does the Michael Myers head tilt that just kind of.
They both
which
do that, yeah.
Has been kind of a recurring story, which I like what they're doing with the Black Mist. The idea that
it's almost like
she got,
parasitic.
that she made her heel turn after getting the Black Mist from Malachi Black, and there was a period of a couple of months while it kind of just gradually turned her evil, and she misted both Sky Blue and Willow Nightingale, and Willow has actually her positive antibodies have fought it off, but Sky Blue.
Well, there has to be someone who's resistant.
Yeah, you can't overpower that joyful nihilism, but Sky Blue is still she's not fully allied with Hart, but she still has the angry eyeliner and
Yeah.
it's still playing a little. it makes sense strategically that both of them would be targeting Statlander, that she's like the bigger, more powerful person. So there are a lot of segments where both Sky Blue and Julia Hart are like double teaming her or chopping her from both sides.
They did one of my favorites, which is the handshake, followed 3 seconds later by immediate betrayal.
Of course.
Betrayal.
Yeah.
Judas.
I give you murder.
Judas.
At one point, Statlander came out in
Good for her.
gear modeled.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
She's on a Ben Stiller
She
kick.
came out as more than a woman. Yeah, because she was dressed as Derek Zoolander back at Wrestle Dream, and then was
Yes.
dressed as his character from Dodgeball. From,
White Goodman.
White Goodman from Globo Gym. And
It also complimented the match because I mean, apparently,
as the fashion plate, you caught this.
Well, apparently, when I expressed it, it was in a silly way. But Julia was in red, Sky was in blue, of course, and
Then they were in purple.
Yeah.
She was in purple.
Statlander was in the combination of red and blue, purple.
That's
But
fantastic.
she's sort of in between them all.
Well, also because that was the color, right?
Yeah,
Well, also
That's,
that.
yeah. It also fit
accomplished two
thematically.
things.
Yeah.
The Globo Gym Vipers.
Thank you. I just had to do that.
Yeah.
So the go home on this is that
I can't wait for her to come out in her Greenberg-inspired ring gear. No.
Tropic Thunder.
No.
I mean, Tropic Thunder is the better choice, is the best choice.
What is this? Made for ants?
It's either that or there's something about Mary.
Oh, please. I hope she doesn't go so deep into it that she tries to do Simple Jack. I feel like I think the irony wouldn't be enough to protect
No,
her.
she would come out like Ben Stiller's not Tom Cruise character in a panda head.
No. She comes out. Her and the best friends do the whole cast from Tropic
David,
Thunder.
help.
So she
David,
comes out
help.
as
don't get
she
it.
comes out as Ben
Come
Stiller's
on,
character.
wrangle these cats.
If anything, I'm going to encourage this.
No. I'm so lost.
Which one of them would be Robert Downey Jr.?
No. I know that one.
Oh, it would be Chuck Taylor.
It would
He'd do
absolutely be Chuck.
He'd do it, yeah.
Cassie would be Tom Cruise.
No, I hate all.
No, someone would have to be Les Grossman.
Well, yeah.
Oh, that's right, you did say.
Cassie
you
just comes
said-
out in the fat suit and just slowly extends a middle finger. Oh, man. But yeah, so go home on this.
Good Lord.
Chris Statlander hits her finisher, which I think is just, depending on when she does it, has a different name. So it's the Saturday Night Fever or the Sunday Night Special or whatever. But she hits it on Sky Blue, rolls her up for the pin, and then Julia Hart does a off the ropes, lowered clothesline to knock her away, and then just immediately grabs Sky to finish the pin and gets the 3 count. So
Snakes the pin, ironically.
Yep. So
Snakes,
Julia Hart
snakes,
is
all
your
of it.
new TBS champion. Chris Statlander, after about 6 months, loses the title but does not lose the match. So I feel like she's not
That'll
done with
continue
this.
That's generally what you do to
feud.
make a champion who's going to lose remain strong.
Yeah. And at 22 years old, Sky is now the youngest. Julia Hart is now the youngest person to have held a belt in the history of AEW as a company.
Good for
Or in
her.
general, all you 22-year-olds should feel less accomplished.
Yeah.
Yeah, get it
Like
together. No, good Lord, no.
But I'm excited for this. I feel like they're kind of positioning her as the Rhea Ripley of the House of Black. That she's the one who's getting it done while all the guys are jerking around. But yeah, so fun. Good for her.
I mean,
Why were you looking at me?
I mean, those are
Because
the
I
outfits.
knew you would make the eyebrow face. That's why.
I mean, those are the outfits you want to wear when you're jerking around.
See, that's why I looked at you because I was
you
like
just-
waiting for you to make the joke.
You just know Brody King does the barking thing.
No. I need a bath and a bleach bath. Nope.
All right, so I gave that one 3.5 as well. Fun match, about 11 minutes. Mostly well executed, a couple of bumpy spots. But yeah, I like where it came out. I think Sky's. I keep getting this mixed up. Julia is a.
They don't even sound the same.
They really
No.
don't. She is ready to be a champion at this point, and I look forward to seeing how she carries that with the House of Black. Also, she got married last month
that's
or
true.
so
Yeah.
good for her. She's had a pretty
I
great-
saw some of the photos they released, and I was like, oh, they look so happy.
They do.
They're cute.
Yeah. She said kind of openly that the cheerleader gimmick was something she got kind of tired of really quickly.
Well,
but
yeah.
it's like, it must have been
She's
really...
22. I mean, if she wasn't that far off from being around cheerleaders.
Yeah.
But now she can actually just smile because she wants to, not because that's literally her whole character is just like grinning ear to ear all the time.
It was. I will admit, it was weird seeing those pictures because it's kind of like when Aubrey Plaza smiles.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's like I know she's capable of doing it.
It doesn't look right.
I've gotten used to her face being defaulted at something else.
A disgusted scowl.
Indifference.
Yes.
There we go. All right, so one of the things that was announced in the run-up to Full Gear was that AEW had a new signing, a blockbuster signing, someone that Tony Khan had said was known and respected by everybody in the AEW locker room and all of the fans.
I was so nervous, man.
And
It's Will Ospreay.
Yes.
I'm sorry. That was about the mood I had about it when it happened. It's like,
See, because
oh, okay, it's that guy. All right.
It's kind of hilarious that, it makes so much sense. It was the clear, obvious choice. They'd had a good relationship.
well, then people on Twitter started talking shit about Ronda Rousey, and I was like, no,
Everybody
no,
was looking...
Jesus, no,
Everybody
please.
It's because she just done that guest spot in ROH.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Or
know.
no.
Yeah, it was on Ring of Honor, her
Yeah.
and Marina Shafir.
Well, there was
Oh,
that, and
that's
there was
right, 'cause
another.
they're
There was another
friends.
place she showed up with Marina Shafir because again to help her.
That was, I think,
'Cause
Revolver.
She can't
Yeah.
do it herself.
But no, so people were looking at like every free agent and were like, could it be Bill Goldberg, or wait, is Brock Lesnar still under contract?
Get
or
the hell
No,
out
it turns
of
out
here.
this is the guy they've had on a
Yeah.
bunch of times that they have a good working relationship with.
Like, what a
the guy whose
concept.
contract is up early next year,
Look,
who's
bruv.
appeared on like
Look, bruv.
4 of their pay-per-views this
Bruv.
past year. Yeah, so he cut a very Guy Ritchie promo.
He seems like a nice guy, but
He's
he
the
leans
best.
heavily on that word so hard.
no, bro, I'm not joking. Yeah, bruv.
I want to make that bruv like the text tone I get from Shelby. I just want to hear bruv, 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 like over and over and over. That's all I want to hear. It'll be perfect. We can make it happen.
So
I
he
just need
did
to-
acknowledge that he's not actually going to be able to do full-time work in AEW till next
yet.
year because his New Japan contract doesn't run out till February. But he's gotten the blessing to sign, and he has said he will be at Revolution, and he is absolutely going to be at All In.
I
when
just
they
wish
do
WWE
Wembley.
would do that. Like,
Well-
admit it, man. Admit it at this point. Like, New Japan and AEW have this like really great symbiotic working relationship. That so far. Oh, didn't mean to make that loud. Damn.
Come in.
Like that thus far is working great, but I just don't. I just don't understand why WWE can't be like, all right, look, like we're still better,
So
but we can work together.
there's a couple of issues with that. One is that WWE likes to maintain a certain level of control over like.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like it's the reason that anybody who leaves WWE has to immediately go back to using a different name because it's like. If you come in, like Brian Pillman Jr. just showed up in NXT, and Brian Pillman is a pretty well-known name in wrestling, but he has to go by a different name because they're not going to let him use his real
They want
name.
a name that they have a trademark on.
Yeah, that's
It's
like
the dumbest. thing
Now,
ever.
in fairness, I feel like the
which
way
is why Braun Breaker is Braun Breaker, and
Yes.
yeah.
that's right.
because the guy they make a star in NXT is Braun Breaker. He can be a Steiner somewhere else, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they view the name as an investment, and it's like,
Yeah.
why should we give you all this and just let you take it somewhere else?
I will say the Pillman one, I feel like they did a pretty decent job of explaining why he was changing his name.
Yeah.
It's about the first time they've ever done something like that, where they've given an explanation because they couldn't avoid the fact that he's Brian Pillman Jr.
Yep.
There have been a few cases, like Jade Cargill is apparently still going to be Jade Cargill in
Yeah.
NXT. That she brought the name in with her. There was a story that I think AJ Styles shared recently that when he came over from TNA, they talked about like they gave him like a list of different names, and he was like, "Well, guys, all these sound great, but I do have AJ tattooed on my rib cage in really big letters." So, yeah.
I mean, I can hear it in his accent. I mean, y'all.
I mean, because at least
All my children start with A and J.
with those two, it's like the reason you're bringing them in is because of the name.
Yeah.
Clearly,
because
yes.
they made their bones somewhere else, and that name is what people are going to be invested in because
Yes.
they want to see how they are in WWE. So it's like, okay, so you have to take a hit on the name
I'm
thing.
still pissed as
Cody
hell about
Rhodes.
Gunther.
Cody Rhodes is kind of an interesting choice because he was Cody Rhodes.
Right.
It's just how he'd wrestled. He was only Cody for a while, but eventually got the Rhodes back. Yeah, but when he came back as exactly the same guy he'd been in AEW. So there was no attempt to like recharacterize him or anything else. But yeah, so Ospreay I think is kind of a big thing because him and Jay White I think were both people that had a lot of interest from WWE, and the fact that they would both just kind of these guys, in their like 30s, the whole career ahead of them.
And outside of NJPW, he wasn't really tied down to any other place, was he?
He'd done some work with TNA. I think he sort of said explicitly.
He had actually very recently done some work with them, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I kind of wanted to try different promotions, kind of get a feel for things. And obviously you can't do that with WWE. You can't just do like a guest spot and then come back. But
you used to be able to have that possibility more often.
It's not going to be it wasn't going to be a smart choice if he went with WWE.
Oh, no.
Ospreay would have been.
It could have worked, but oh my gosh, it also could have really not.
No.
WWE,
I have no faith for that right now.
WWE is very well known for getting someone and being like, all right, we have this guy finally.
And this is mine, and I never let him out.
That, and it's like, okay, now let's fit you into the WWE mold.
I think Shinsuke Nakamura is sort of the like poster on the wall.
We'll just shave these edges off so you fit a little better. And here's your new outfit.
Yes. Oh, and new name.
Yes.
But I'm very excited for Ospreay.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be fantastic.
He's going to have a great run.
I mean, there's just so many people I think that he can work with that just will work no matter what, in any circumstance. He's just that kind of wrestler.
All right. Here we go.
He'll be around much more often to menace everyone with his accent.
Yeah, bruv.
There was a bit on TNA. I'm not sure if it was on TV or a house show, but he got the oi, oi, oi chants and had to explain to the crowd that, no, he's English. He just hangs out with a bunch of Australians. All right, there is no more delaying it. We are now at the match that honestly could have been the main event of the evening, and is certainly, I think, the one that everybody is still talking about days later. Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland in a Texas death match. So
the millennial cowboy vampire.
Another one where I just kind of want to list off all the insane stuff that happened.
Just go watch it. Just go watch it.
You have to watch it.
If you haven't seen it, sit your ass down and watch that.
Gina's parents came into town, and I felt we were having a lunch with them today.
Yeah,
and I was just mentioning we were doing a podcast tonight. We had a show, and I get this weird instinct where I need to explain this thing that I love to people who don't get it at all, and I'm like,
oh, this is the perfect way to start.
There was a match, you see, and it's a death match, so you can use any weapons, you can use anything you want at all. The only rule is it ends when somebody physically can't get up after 10 seconds.
We started bringing up blood, and I see my mom's eyes just glaze over. She's like, what?
So this one guy, Swerve, he's like a rap mogul, and he broke into the house of the cowboy and just basically stood over his kid's crib and was saying kind of vaguely menacing
my
stuff.
My dad's head's tilting like this. Like, what?
And so the cowboy comes out and he has a picture, like
Gina,
a finger
the next
painting.
time he does this, you just need to be sitting there just smiling, going, mm-hmm.
That's exactly what I was doing.
Perfect.
A finger painting that his young son did.
He stapled it to the man.
And he puts it to his face with a staple
And my
gun.
mom was like, all right, nope. Like, all right, nope.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, this match was just...
Like, we could literally talk about it for hours, but oh my God.
This is the starter pistol, as far as I'm concerned, for the 2024 MVP. For Swerve and Hangman can both have an amazing year ahead of them. At least one of them needs to be a world champion before next year is over.
Yeah.
Honestly, you could have both of them do it if it's traded late in the year.
My selection for this was Swerve to win. And I was up against, everybody else did not think that was going to be the outcome.
I thought Hangman should have won initially. After watching it, the way they did it, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm fine with a Swerve victory.
If we were going to go with the mold that is traditional with this, which is how I based it off for Orange Cassidy's match, Hangman should have won because the last match Swerve won it.
Well,
so if we were going to go with that,
not even just that, but narratively, I felt like, and he did. I mean, Hangman was more fired up to the point where only Swerve made an entrance. Hangman, see, this is one thing I give AEW props for. Like, this is a grudge match, and Hangman felt violated by what Swerve did. Yeah. So he didn't, in WWE...
He's not going to walk down the ramp and wait for his pyro.
In WWE, he still would have made an entrance. And it's like, why? You're pissed off. So Hangman did what I had hoped he'd do. He just bolted to the ring and
go, bitch.
and started that match.
Yeah, sure did.
And honestly, I loved his whole demeanor in the first few minutes of this match because he's not okay. He starts with a lot of like heavy strikes, like he's attacking him, he's going hard,
Rage
and then
is
once
out.
he's gotten him down, he starts going out and he's just grabbing the barbed wire chairs and he's grabbing and he's just it's almost nonchalant. He's just like, I am here to murder you.
And he's like, yeah, no, this isn't a fight. This is a death match.
And I'm not in a hurry to do it. Like,
And
this is
despite
gonna
being the
happen.
face, this is something else I appreciate. After everything that's happened, I'm not playing fair. He grabbed tape, bound Swerve's wrists, and then proceeded to brutalize him.
Yeah.
And so he, again, grabs a staple gun, as we mentioned. And
That
yes, at
is
one point he
insane.
staples a drawing from his son onto Swerve's cheek.
Now, it came off the
Along-
first time, so he had to do it again.
Again. And then he
just
stapled
also,
his chest.
staples him multiple times in the chest. It's so insane. And honestly, I was just kind of like, is this entire match just going to be him killing him?
I hope
And
he
here's-
had his tetanus shot.
And Swerve, here's the moment where you're just reminded that this guy, his ceiling is so high in this company for where he goes, because he gets up and he gets his feet under him.
Like the adrenaline's going
And he
now.
stares at Hangman, and Hangman puts the staple gun to his chest, does it again, and Swerve does not move.
He doesn't flinch.
Does it
an
again,
inch.
doesn't move at all, leans into him, takes 2 or 3 more, finally gets his bound hands up, forces the staple gun back into Hangman's face, and shoots him in the forehead with a staple gun.
And then, after his
Blood.
hands are free, staples himself while laughing.
Just cackling with that great, insane smile. And I'm just...
Because he hit the threshold and he doesn't feel it anymore.
Nope.
Because that's what you need in a death match. Like, you need to be like, the bad guy would never agree to this match if he was going to be a coward and like run away as soon as
And
weapons
Swerve
got
did
out.
try to run a couple of times.
A couple of times.
Yeah.
But then he got back and was like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, and
Oh, yeah, no.
This match. Yeah.
Oh.
Once he was able to take control, then he was all confident again. But I thought these were all excellent touches.
we also do need to mention, before Swerve gets his hands free, after the staples to the face, he's been busted open very badly.
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
Hangman
okay, I was wondering
grabs
when
his
you were gonna bring
head,
this up.
rolls on the ground underneath
Ugh.
him, and it's like somebody who's just opened the tap on a barrel of wine, just opens his mouth and drinks in Swerve's dripping blood.
And I apparently I
disgusting.
accidentally looked away when this happened. Paige got up and then spit it like a fountain of water.
Anxious millennial vampire. You said it.
And I missed I saw the Instagram of when he put the picture of him drinking the blood later.
Gracious.
And it's just, what was it, like you and I are together forever?
Yes, you are
You'll be
with me forever.
Yeah.
Which,
Oh, man.
what the fuck, dude?
Which-
Y'all, better help, something.
Like-
Therapy, we got this. It's available.
I swear, I bet they were just so happy with themselves after the match when they
of
got to the back.
course.
They had to have been
Yeah.
just over the moon with how that
And
went.
then they were like, okay, I can't see anymore. Not because the blood's in my eyes, but because there's no more blood in my body.
Yeah. Swerve, crimson mask,
Oh, my
full
God.
crimson
Not even
mask.
that.
Very
like-
early in the match, too. Like,
There
he's
was a
got that
part where
for-
he blinked,
Yeah.
and you could see the blood going like down the whites of his eyes after he blinked, and then it just went straight back again. And I was like, ugh. Like, oh my god.
Like, there was a few times where he wiped and it basically did
Oh,
nothing.
Yeah, it was
did
just like
nothing.
it moved it around a little bit.
And then see, I was okay with the Swerve victory because as the match progressed and Swerve was able to fight back, then it was like he didn't get. It was funny because like he and even a death match, Swerve doesn't take a clean pick victory.
Right. Like,
That's
he's got
why I ultimately picked
Yeah.
him to win, because I was like, if he does win, it's not going to be fair. There's going to
Yeah.
be chicanery. There's going to be bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah,
what
Even
happens.
He's
in a
almost-
death match.
Even in a death match.
He's almost down when Hangman does that moonsault of his to the
Yeah.
outside, holding a barbed wire chair against his own chest. Gets him back in the ring and does a tombstone onto it, and there's no way Swerve can get up, but Nana grabs
Pulls
his
him,
foot,
yep.
pulls him out of the ring, and he lands on his feet on the outside,
Somehow on
which
his
breaks the
feet.
count. Yeah, oh my gosh, just so
Brian
many.
Cage runs in.
Yeah,
Yep.
that is the one part of this match. Having Nana there makes sense. Having the Mogul Embassy or anybody from there run in, I feel like
I just was surprised no one came for Hangman.
I feel like he was an insurance policy. That's why he showed up as late as he did.
Yeah.
I could see that.
It's like if things like they're going south, then you come in and seal it for me.
and
But he almost didn't. And
when his
that-
hands are taped together and he's getting staples in his face, Cage is backstage looking at pictures of his baby and just texting his wife.
yeah, someone's tapping him on
Hey,
the
babe.
someone's tapping on the shoulder. He's like, "Hold on, let's see where this is going."
Like, hang on, I just need to send one more text.
I don't know. I think he's just about to turn this around.
Yeah, he's got this.
Yeah, I like at a certain point, I just have like bullet points in my notes for this.
Yeah.
Like,
All the
Swerve.
noises are retching noises.
Swerve goes outside of the ring and grabs a bag from under the apron, and we all know what this bag is going to be thumbtacked.
I thought it was that.
It's
yeah.
always no.
Legos.
It is a bag of broken glass.
Because
And
what the
he
fuck?
Spreads it out on Hangman's back, and then goes up in the corner and does a 450 splash onto the broken glass.
Damn, yeah.
Which like. So again, Hangman has a couple of points where he's barely able to get back, but somehow manages to get his feet under him right at 9. He takes a Death Valley driver onto a cinder block on the ring apron.
And this, the cinder, okay, and this, and there was another thing affecting Hangman that was not actually kayfabe. This was just legitimately happening. He was wearing actual boots, and they didn't have any traction to them.
Oh.
So well, you saw that.
I did, but I thought it was because of the blood.
Well, it was
That
because
didn't
his
help.
boots were sliding on the blood.
Oh my god.
He was legitimately having trouble a few times.
It was almost like he was like, I don't even need to get dressed. I'm going to go out there in my normal attire
Kinda,
and just
yeah.
beat his ass.
And that's the idea,
Yeah.
but also, yikes, it helps to have
Yeah, you
your
can wear
feet
some
that'll stay where they need to be. There's a bit where he's on the corner and Swerve grabs the barbed wire chair and hits him in the back, and
Yeah.
one of the coils
Oh, God,
of barbed
yeah.
wire gets loose and gets over Hangman's face. And thankfully, Swerve seemed to recognize it, so he didn't pull the chair back hard enough to do serious damage, and Hangman was able to get it clear. But
Yeah.
ow!
There are some phenomenal
thing
pictures
was-
on the internet circulating from that.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh!
The blood drinking moment.
Because when it got on his face, it wasn't like it was just on the top. The first one goes under his lip,
Yeah.
and then it hit up.
And it was in a
like,
position.
"Oh!"
It was in a position to where if it dragged, it would catch an eyelid or something.
everything.
Like that. Yeah.
Just everything.
I will say, similar to when Don Callis interfered in Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay's match, the reason that Cage's interference didn't tick me off more is that it doesn't actually end the match. Like,
No.
if Cage just come out,
Yes.
attacked him, he loses 10 count, that would have pissed me off.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
No. Like Paige handled him.
Yeah,
but
Hangman fights him off and then has to fight off Nana.
Right.
And after dropping Nana through tables on the outside with a Deadeye, Swerve comes charging in from behind with a cinder block and just powderizes it over his back.
and takes a chain and hangs him.
Yes, Hangman is hanged.
Which is good. It's like that's the way. If I were doing that spot, that's the way you do it because you can't do it the other way around.
I
you really
made
cannot.
that comment literally right before we got here.
And importantly, I saw the promo that Hangman did on on Swerve before on the lead in.
I'm going to take my son to where you're buried every year, and we're going to piss on your grave.
It was a great promo.
Damn.
So good, so hard. It's like it was nice to have someone talk to Swerve the way he talks to other
Yeah.
people. It was great to hear. But the one part that caught me very specifically because he is the Hangman. He said, "I'm going to be your judge, jury, and executioner." It's like, okay, good. They didn't want him. He decided not to say the word hangman there
Yeah.
because that has different connotations.
It does. But yeah, so eventually he strings up Hangman with a piece of chain.
Oh no.
Is like throws it over the ropes.
Yeah,
Lets him go, and
they both go down.
yeah.
but
But
Swerve manages
get
to
up.
grab himself up.
And Hangman is still moving. He is not unconscious. He gets his
He
hands under him and tries
tries.
to push.
Gets up to 9 and then down.
Just cannot
Falls
get his
back
feet in
down.
time, and that's it.
Yeah.
And so Swerve is your winner, and we have what is
We didn't
generally
really feel
agreed
like winners
to be
after
one
that.
of the
No, you're not supposed to after a match
No.
like that.
but like that was amazing. And honestly, I would have been fine if we went home after that because
Yeah.
I sure
wow.
did. I don't know why this wasn't the main event.
I don't think of all the people, like WWE released a lot of people over the last 5 years. I'm not sure there is one that I would say is as much money left on the table
Oh.
as Swerve, just for what this guy could have been.
I feel like
And
Claudio.
Claudio had done all they were ever going to let him do. Like they were never.
that's
gonna,
what I'm saying.
Yeah, they were never going to make Claudio anything else. Swerve could have been exactly as he is now, like with a few tweaks. Obviously, you're not going to do a death match in WWE, but he had Hit Row. He had that energy. He could have gone there.
But Top Dollar.
Is also gone.
Yeah. But it's just, yeah, as someone pointed out,
Yeah.
the Sunday, I think the day after, it was 2 years to the day after Swerve's WWE release, and just like what this guy has done. And
He's unreal, man.
I would be okay if he's the one to take the belt off MJF at World's End or Revolution at some point.
Well, they've sealed the idea that he's definitely going to take the belt at some point.
Yeah.
And hopefully soonish.
Yeah, so I gave this one 4 3/4.
I honestly would give it a 5. 5 Regals.
Almost did. Death matches are never really my thing, as insane as this is.
I was all for it.
It's not just that, it's that everything was executed so well. Like,
well, I mean, once the staple gun came out, I was all in. 'Cause I was like, oh, this is gonna be gross.
this is it, man.
The dogs and I both laughed the same way, and I knew it was gonna be great.
I hope that in like 3 months I look back at myself and hate myself for not giving this a 5 because Hangman and Swerve have just had the phenomenal singles run. That this seems like it's signaling for both of them. So.
And then now I take a nap.
And
with
then
this
on
next
to the
match.
real banger of a match.
So other people talked about this match and seemed happy about it. I can't remember anything about it.
Not a damn thing.
Okay.
Except
I
the
like
Bucks
the
were being
story
the
of the
Bucks.
match where it's the Young Bucks are obviously going heel, but Kenny wants to still be their friends.
Okay. I should say the Golden Jets, Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho versus the Young Bucks,
That's so
Matt
dumb.
and Nick Jackson.
Weirdly enough, Chris Jericho is trying to be a better friend than.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening here?
I don't know what's
I will
going
say
on.
the Jacksons are fairly like it's not wrong of them to be like this guy smashed
No,
our
they're
dad's
wrong.
face against
They're
the
wrong.
back of a trailer. So it is a tag team match with some kind of complicated stakes where if Kenny and Jericho win, they get the #1 contender spot from the Young Bucks. If the Bucks win, then Jericho and Omega can never team again. Kind of where I am is I just have never been that invested in the elite drama.
No.
And this match is just so much of what you need to care about is will Kenny and the Bucks be friends? Like you said, it's kind of funny that he's just so much like, guys, come on, we're having a good sporting context. And
He
the
literally
Bucks,
did have a moment like that in the ring.
yeah, and the Bucks are just like, you piece of garbage, you're going with this guy.
I'll kill you. Okay, buddy.
Thanks.
Like that's funny, but it's just at a
Have
certain
nice
point.
day.
The Bucks turning heel never really works for me because they never seem established enough as faces for me to. Like, we just had this whole conversation about how amazing like a character thing.
It's funny to me because it's like when the Bucks turn face, and also they keep flip flopping. But
Yeah.
it's when the Bucks turn face, it's like we're good now. Why?
Because I said so.
Yeah,
Because our shoes said so. Our shoes are nice, like bright colors.
I don't outright hate the Bucks or anything
No,
the way a lot of
no.
people do. But
I do.
I do admit, as characters, they're so into this idea of being like the guys who wink at wrestling and its tropes
They're so cool.
that they've kind of taken away their own ability to actually tell coherent stories in there. They're great athletes. They have great matches in them. Although I do think they need.
a great story is all these cool spots we do.
Well, okay, they need somebody else.
Look, I did a flip.
They need opponents who will give the match a certain shape. But yeah, any story that's just about like the Bucks are turning evil, I'm just like, okay, who were they before? What is the
There's no. It's not dire. The circumstances are never
I
dire.
can't tell when they're good or bad unless other people flat out say it.
Yes.
much.
Because I can't tell from their words and actions alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're always kind of douchebags, whether
Sassy
they're
douchebags,
whether they're
always,
faces
yeah.
or heels. Again, I still find their matches entertaining. This had some good spots, and honestly, I was a little worried that Jericho was gonna tear something trying to keep up with these other
This
three.
is what I'm saying. I said this a while back with Shelby, and I was like, it's just, he needs to go. It's time. It's time. Like, I'm just starting to really see it. I'd like him to go before it's like way too late. And it's like something
You're talking
bad.
about Jericho?
Yes.
I still think he's got time in him.
I'm
I think
worried
he's
that
just
does
he needs
not.
to do. He's still adjusting to where he is physically compared to where he was 15 years ago.
I know it's an adjustment, but if he doesn't make it a little bit more stark of a choice, bad thing's going to happen.
I'll just also say that him and Kenny teaming up doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Not at all.
It made sense when they were like fighting off
Right.
Don Callis' guys as an
Yeah,
enemy
like
of my enemy
we
thing.
hate him. Like we'll deal with each other.
I guess the idea is supposed to be, well, while we were doing that, we felt like something clicked, so we're I guess we're going to keep going.
And
then
we're going to challenge for the tag
And the
titles.
Young Bucks are upset about that for some reason. It's like,
Yeah, you're my friend.
he did bad things to our dad. You've done horrible things to other people. I don't understand what the argument is here.
confused.
Yeah.
You care that somebody was a terrible guy 2 years ago? How this is wrestling. Come on.
That's a lifetime ago.
Don't be a petty bitch.
So yeah, but just after the death match, especially, like maybe I would have been warmer on this match if it had happened earlier in the card, but I was just so like still thinking about everything I just seen from Swerve and Hangman.
Well, I think you're glossing over the brightest spot in this match, and that is the Young Bucks lost.
Yes, they do. Matt
Let
Jackson.
me yawn, Chris.
Pretty straightforward. He takes a V-trigger and a one-winged angel from Kenny, takes the 3 count. I think at one point Matt Jackson does a one-winged angel on Kenny, who kicks out of it. Not as awesome as it was when Ospreay and him had that spot earlier.
Well, that's because it's one of those wrestling deals, at least in my head, where it's like, okay, if you do a guy's finisher to him, it's not going to be the same because he's the guy who's perfected it.
Yeah.
So it's not as powerful.
Yeah.
So the match itself lasted about 20 minutes. It felt like
Punk
there was
knows
another
that.
5 minutes of the Bucks just storming around outside, like slamming chairs against the
Apparently that was
corner.
and I didn't catch it either, but it was a callback. It was a callback to Chris Jericho freaking out in WCW.
Which
when he had the
That
when he-
makes more sense.
when he lost his shit and went heel, like in WCW for the first time.
And see, there's going to be an example coming up in the very next thing we're going to talk about of a callback that works really well, where
Right.
if you know it, it deepens
I sure
things
did
and you have a
not.
better understanding. For this, it's like, oh, well, that I didn't know that, so that
Yeah,
made no
I'm the
sense. And
casual
it just,
fan over here. Like,
Well,
I
yeah,
didn't know
if you catch it, great. But also at the same time, that match had gone 20 minutes, and I was like,
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah.
Like, get
I'm
out.
tired.
You can't. Like, everyone needs to get out of the ring, and you're halting everything. Go.
Like, please.
Yeah.
That
So,
was the popcorn match.
yeah, I just, not a lot to say
It
about
would have
the
been better
match.
if they'd hit each other with giant bags of popcorn.
That would have been fun.
Yeah, that's an actual spot that wrestlers used to do sometimes.
I like that.
Yeah, so I don't really have a lot else to say about that. I think it's weird that I think the Bucks should have won because there's no reason for Kenny and Jericho to stay a tag team.
I like it because it hurts the Bucks.
There is that.
You're so petty.
So I gave it 2 1/4. Moving,
Okay.
Oh,
it's just
gosh.
didn't really work for me. Moving on to the main event. The main event being Adam Cole versus Jay White. So Jay White comes out.
That's weird.
Accompanied by both the
What?
Guns.
Which, okay, in a normal context, I actually would really like to
Sure.
see that match, but
Knowing what you know, that's weird.
Not this.
Adam Cole comes out limping on crutches. Nobody trying to stop him, which will seem interesting in a moment.
Bryce's
Everyone
sad
has
face.
oh my God, that's right. Bryce
Bryce's
came out.
sad
He
face.
pouted. He was pouting
He was
so
like, "You
hard.
shouldn't do this."
Cole doesn't even have ring gear. He's just wearing his T-shirt and the shorts that he had earlier when he.
His beard has somehow gotten scragglier.
Lord have mercy.
I think he teased it out.
I think so too.
So they get in the ring, and
I
then
need to look more harried and desperate.
You nailed it, bud.
Jay's
You
kind of
nailed it.
like moving around, teasing him a little bit, and then
Makes
we
him
hear
flinch.
a siren, and we see a shot of the loading
That's
dock
right.
outside, and
MJF is stone cold at this.
an ambulance is being driven very slowly and very safely back into the loading dock because MJF has just presumably choked out the paramedics and driven his way back in.
Well, also remember, he one of the legs he's using has been severely hurt.
There
So
we go.
Hey, we did find out though that it was the left leg for him.
Left
So
leg, okay.
He could drive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Adam
Hooray.
Cole. There is a shot of Adam
Hooray.
Cole looking up at the screen and seeing it come in, and he just looks like a golden retriever hearing like a human car pull into a driveway.
Mommy, get her home. Mommy,
Exactly.
get her home.
Like dogs and like pets know the sound of your car. So when they
Yeah.
hear it, they're like,
So MJF's music hits, and he comes out to the ramp, and he's surrounded by doctors and officials and referees who were not there stopping
Don't do
Adam.
it, Max.
No,
Don't
no,
do it, Max.
No, not stopping Adam whatsoever. The one who actually
They're
just got over
they're
surgery.
like, please don't go. And Max kind of trips a little and lands in the superhero pose.
Yeah. And he powers to the ring, and it's, again, the
I love
most
him,
pure
man.
babyface spot. And I still can't believe it's him doing this.
I'm surprised
And
there wasn't
we're here for it.
I'm surprised there wasn't a golden spotlight following him.
So, yeah, we actually, never mind. The main event is, as originally announced, MJF versus Jay White for the AEW World title. The Guns are still at ringside. And
There is two functioning legs between MJF and Adam Cole.
Oh.
And that's all they need to kick Jay White's ass.
Oh.
No, they could have used more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have been nicer.
So here's what I want to ask you guys. Do you think we needed all of this stuff just to get to the main event of MJF versus Jay White?
Needed? No, but I'm here for it.
I can't complain. Yeah. This is the level of stupid wrestling where it's like, yeah.
Because
like,
that was the build-up. The match made it even more ridiculous.
Yes. I think if they were going to do it, they had to commit.
Every
single one of them.
The only
And they
thing that
did. They
match
chose
didn't
to.
have was slow motion. Slow motion moments of everyone like of MJF in pain is like, oh, I don't know if I can.
Well, there was even the motivational.
Oh yeah,
you've got this.
Yeah.
You're the real champion. Get up, MJF.
you can
Get
do
up,
this,
Max.
Mr. Frodo.
I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you. No, I can't. My leg still doesn't
yeah.
work.
Honestly, when they got to the cheating, honestly, Adam Cole should have just offered up a crutch.
Okay, speaking of cheating, I love the Guns just doing the lumberjack thing where every time MJF is out of the ring, they're beating the crap out of him.
They're looking to see if the ref is looking.
Yep.
They do it like 3 or 4 times. Finally, Bryce turns around and they're literally, one is holding him down while the other has a chair raised over his head, and they look at him and just freeze
It's like a child
escaping
that's like, you
prisoners in a
can't see me.
spotlight.
Child hand in cookie jar kind of
Yeah,
thing.
you can't see me. I have frozen.
And Bryce, even then, is still, because it's the rules of
thought
referee
Bryce
deduction,
Brisbane-
kind of looks at them, looks to the crowd, and looks to the crowd, and is sort of like, did they do that? Okay, you're out of here.
No, you got to do the you're out of here because he does.
I
a beautiful
love that.
throw.
I love that started getting sold like they get hit.
Man, I love it.
So the Guns are ejected, and so MJF still selling his leg all through the match. Somehow manages to land a one-legged kangaroo kick, which
I even was making the joke. I was like, Karate Kid it. You've got this.
Get him a body bag.
at one point they make their way outside of the ring. He puts Jay White on the announce table so he can go up and do an elbow drop. Only problem, as soon as Jay White lands on the table, it collapses.
Under the massive weight of Jay White.
A man who has never
gosh.
so much as glimpsed a carb out of the corner of his eye.
Good gracious.
And so MJF could just like, all right, well, I'll stomp him, roll back into the ring, and move on.
No.
But no. Not Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
No, not at all.
He's going to get up on that corner, and he is going to do an elbow drop all the way down to the floor with no table to break his fall even a little bit. And apparently he actually dislocated his hip doing that move and needed to have
shit.
it popped in afterwards.
Him and Cole.
I'm so sorry. Now, I know you can pop in like shoulders, you can pop in like elbows, but
Oh my God.
maybe it's just because as a woman,
You can do it. It's gonna hurt
Yeah.
even worse.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, like.
And then he finished the match after.
Yeah, he can. Okay,
That's
I
literal
will say,
adrenaline.
I don't know for a fact that it happened there. I know it happened during the match.
Yeah.
That would be my guess. My other guess for where it could have happened is when he does that jumping cutter over the top ropes, which was also an amazing
That or
move.
maybe flipping the figure 4.
Also possible.
Oh, you know what? That could, yeah, because if it was already strained.
It was a lot of strain to push and turn.
It probably also was the strain because if you're putting so much other weight on the
Yeah.
other leg to sell,
He
then
was
maybe it
selling
was-
that injury
yeah.
so hard.
Yeah.
Honestly, like it really could have then resulted in an actual
Right.
injury.
Right.
So eventually we get to the point where both men are just trying to out-cheat the other.
Yes.
Because MJF is still our scumbag. So there's a section where they're trading roll-ups and each man is grabbing the other one's tights before the other manages to counter.
And then Adam Cole goes.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, I've got my tag title." He tries to get it to MJF, but Jay White intercepts, smashes MJF with
Or
it.
does he? Because Jay White picks it up and holds it for a second, and Adam is just staring at him. Is it in shock, or is it because this is what he wanted?
Get out of here.
Just-
Whose side
okay.
are you on?
Okay, maybe
open all the
maybe,
possibilities.
You're on
Abilities.
Chaos's side. That's
maybe,
whose side you're on.
Maybe, but also from the
Get off of
even
deep
if it
dark
was
Twitter.
even if it was a short distance, trying to reach up and grab on a bad leg like he has.
My thing was the ring, though.
Yeah.
That was the only
I
thing
thi-
I had. I was like, Adam,
Well,
move
there's-
your fucking arm and pick up that ring.
Okay. Oh yeah. So yeah.
Grab
he
the
did,
fucking ring.
Well, so I want to mention real quick before that, because we do have the long spot, and here's where I'm going to talk about a good callback.
Yeah.
At one point, Jay White managed to get MJF in the figure 4.
Yes.
And middle of the ring, MJF is screaming in agony. Adam Cole grabs I thought it was a towel at first, but it's actually the Lakers T-shirt that
Yeah.
MJF was wearing when he came out
That
because
makes
they're in
more
Kia Forum.
sense because it was
And he's holding it and thinking about throwing it in, and MJF is screaming at him not to do it. And the reason what this calls back to is when Cody Rhodes was challenging Chris Jericho with the stipulation that if he lost, he could never challenge for the AEW title again. MJF threw in the towel while Cody was in the walls of Jericho,
pretending to be concerned for
and
Cody's safety.
then turned on him, and that was when he went full heel.
Yep.
And so you've got Adam Cole on the outside holding it while
like having that
MJF
same moment where he
is
could do it.
begging him not to do it, and he decides not to, and MJF manages to flip the hold over and do the classic reversal.
Yeah.
But like that's the kind of thing where it's like the spot works just fine, where you've got the story of Cole wants to throw it to protect his friend. MJF is telling him not to do it. But if you know how this ties into MJF's history with Cody Rhodes, then that's just an extra good layer
that's
on
the thing.
top.
There's got to be a like a time that's like too far
Yeah.
if you're going to reference something. Like I feel like if it's, past. I don't want to do math wrong, but that's what 30 years ago.
I just think the story
The
needs
Jericho
to work.
reference.
The story needs to work if you don't know the reference,
Right.
and that it did on the main event.
You know what?
It didn't with the Young Bucks.
That makes more sense. That
Like,
makes more
if
sense.
you don't know the Jericho reference, you just wonder why are these guys still doing this? What's going on?
I was just like, oh my gosh, this has gone on. Like we get it. Like enough.
But so, Chris, you were talking about the go home on this.
The cheating, yes.
Yeah.
It was the cheat off.
Cheaty McCheaty pants.
But yeah, so MJF gets smashed with the title belt. Did he kick out? I think
Kicks out at like 2.999.
Yeah,
It
he
was
kicks
a
out of that.
Man, that one was
closest
insane.
spot.
So of course the ring is the next step.
Yep.
We get a ref bump.
Oh, that's right, the ref bump. So anything goes.
Poor Bryce. It's always Bryce.
Yep.
Like Bryce.
So the ring is the next spot. But I was like,
Cole takes out the diamond ring and sets it on the apron for MJF, but
Yeah.
White manages to get to it first.
Look, that was my only time where I was like, Adam, your arm length is literally like you could have passed the ring with your arm length. So
these are the
that's-
arguments that
I know.
Britt is having with Adam at home.
no, Britt's having arguments about unloading the dishwasher. being
Right,
like,
right.
The
because-
man who says that he can't unload the dishwasher because it involves standing up for too long has just been signed up for a world title match on a pay-per-view. But yeah, so MJF, however, is never to be out-cheated, managed to hit a low blow on Jay
Yep.
White and get the ring back.
And the look on Adam's face of just pure delight when the cheating is like at the peak.
Because the ref is down, the guns come running out and then immediately get dispensed with one dynamite punch each.
It could be. It could be.
MJF is distracted enough by this that Jay White goes for a switchblade.
Yep.
MJF managed to wrestle out of it, clocks him straight with the ring, pins him. Bryce Rimsberg back on his feet. 1, 2, 3. MJF retains, and we are all waiting as Cole gets into the ring, helps him celebrate. They go back up the ramp, but nope.
Nothing happens.
Show goes down, and no appearance by the devil unless he was already at ringside.
Man, I think it's Roddy. I really do.
Could be Roddy.
I do.
I think, yeah, Roddy, Adam Cole. At this point, I feel like if they try to just have it be like Jungle Boy or somebody who's like, it's this person you never expected, that would be a terrible idea.
Yeah.
How do y'all feel about this booking for Jay White? Some people are a little unhappy about the idea. They're saying
No, it
he's
was good.
Yeah, there's people are like, he's buried because it's his
No.
first pinfall loss in AEW.
Yeah.
He didn't lose clean. He just got out.
A loss isn't a burial, especially after a struggle back and forth like
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
There were no spots where I was like, like that didn't hit, or that wasn't like
Yeah.
his best. Everything he executed was perfect.
As someone pointed out, Seth Rollins lost to Cody Rhodes 3 times in a
Yes.
row, and in the third time, Cody only had one working arm, and
Great
nobody was
example.
just like, Seth Rollins will never be taken seriously again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Jay White is great, and he will be just fine.
he'll be fine. I liked the match overall. I knock a little bit off because I think they went a little too far with the angle. I don't think they needed the leg injury.
No, I thought it was great.
I kind of dial it back to 3.5. Good match, solid.
No.
But
No,
I
this,
like the camp, damn it.
this was, at least for me, it was absolutely
Pinnacle.
the pinnacle of all of the melodrama they built throughout.
Well, here's what I'm thinking is that if The whole thing makes sense if the context is Adam Cole wants MJF taken out. He gets to come in and be like, oh, I'm defending MJF's championship. And then, again, this is all what his kayfabe plan would have been, to reveal that he's not actually injured, beat Jay White, and then now he's the world championship, and, oh, he comes up with some reason he can't give it back to Max. Like, the whole evening kind of makes sense if the idea is Adam Cole is trying to manipulate a situation where he can win the AEW title. Again, there could be something else on this, but like the absolute absence of the devil, that we never saw like an image, we never saw a physical thing, seems interesting given how heavily they've built this going forward. I feel like that's all going to culminate at World's End, because that's also,
I mean, literally,
in kayfabe, that's the last pay-per-view that happens before MJF's contract is up.
Right.
Reports are that he may have already re-signed. We don't. That hasn't been confirmed yet.
there is no way he's going to WWE. There's nothing for him there. No. Nothing.
I think they'd be insane not to make an offer for him.
Oh, no, they would, but he's not dumb enough to take it.
He's one of the guys that I think they could use right. Not sure.
No.
Maybe.
I'm sorry. I'm coming from the land of NXT. I am always going to be hypocritical of that. Like, that doesn't exist.
I don't think he'd go through NXT. I think he'd
I'm just
he'd debut
saying,
at Royal
like,
Rumble or something.
No, I'm just saying, like, the people that I care about and that I loved were taken from NXT to be absolutely just shat on. So I'm a little skeptical.
We will see. So, like I said, I give it 3.5. I don't think he's going to end up doing that at this point. I don't believe we'd have the story we have if they weren't already very far along in him being like in their future plans.
Well, but a fine end to a fine program.
Indeed. This got close in a couple of places from being like, all right, they're being a little too clever about themselves. I think the Young Bucks match was the only point where it really went off. But, man, that death match. I still just go back to thinking of that, and wow.
That death match was unbelievable.
All right, so, yep, that was AEW Full Gear. Just do a quick thing. Chris, do you have a workhorse of the evening? Who would you say was just your absolute MVP on the card that night?
Let's see. Between everybody, I would give it to. Well, I'd really give it to Jay White.
He really, yeah.
Sounds good.
He more than upheld his end of making that main event look really entertaining.
All right, Gina, who you got?
The mean joke is Ric Flair's pacemaker. But no, that's not the actual answer that I'm going to give. Honestly, Adam Page, Hangman. I mean, my God. Like, this stuff, like, I know he's been capable of it. And Swerve, both of them. I can't think of any more effort they could have given, like, to make it any better. Like, there was nothing else. They gave everything they had in that match. And so, both of them. Both of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that as well. I wanted out for a sort of a diverse perspective, but nope, Swerve Strickland is just like.
So I have Hangman and you have Swerve.
Yep.
There we go.
All right, Chris, Fashion Plate. Who was your best dressed of the evening?
Ooh.
Well, I feel like Statlander is the only one really trying.
Yeah, that was a fun
Although Swerve had a good outfit too.
Well, did you know the reference?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
Yeah.
Swerve is wearing red and black striped vertical trunks tights in a tribute to the late Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Which I'd wondered about that, the color scheme, but he did confirm it later on Instagram.
No.
All right, Gina, you got a best dressed?
I'm trying to go through the roster as fast as I can in my brain. I'm always going to say Julia Hart, but that's just because but she wears the same thing all the time. But it was nice to not see Sky Blue in the Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. All right, she's back in her blues.
Back in her blues. But yeah, I mean, costume choice, probably Chris Statlander.
I got to give it to Toni Storm. She's fashionable. She's chic. She's just She's everything that the stars light up for. All right. Anybody got a worst dress they want to throw out?
Worst dress? Nah.
Yeah, everybody looks pretty nice.
Nobody gave a crap.
Nothing too unacceptable. All right. Well, I gotta go and give that card. I would say this is what I've been kind of struggling with because I don't just do pure math on this. The overall rating of a card is kind of a gut feeling. I'm going to give this one, all the ups and downs, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 as a pay-per-view. 4 out of 5 meetings that Hangman's kid is going to have with a counselor a couple years down the road.
Yeah. I almost said 3.8, but you're right, 4.
All right, so let's see. David, anything you want to talk about coming up?
No, we're going to do another Long Walk Talks again. I really do want to try to get those last 2 episodes of the year out, so I'd like to do one next week.
So you threaten.
I know. But otherwise, no, we're just on a collision course with the end of the year. No idea how that happened.
Wow.
Well, I know this coming Saturday, WWE has their War Games Survivor Series card, which we are looking to make that a crossover, full on, bringing in Shelby Death Ray Patterson. To have all 4 hosts in the same place. Again, we're going to see how the logistics work out on that. Shelby does have that tiny human being at home who is entirely reliant on her. But we will see how that can work out. David, anything else you want to pitch?
Not really. Just want to say, Robert, if people want to reach out to you online or follow you online, where is the best place for them to do that?
I am still packing in enough supplies and holding on enough fuel to power the generators in my tiny outpost on the site formerly known as Twitter. Still around at RedbeardRob1.
Oh, we don't support the website formerly known as Twitter on this podcast.
Sucks.
But
just you and Apple and Google and probably an increasingly large
Lionsgate.
number of...
Gina, if people want to follow you anywhere that's not the cesspool formerly known as Twitter, where can they find you at?
Instagram at Broadway_baby1218. I'm trying not to be on there as much, but if you want to follow, I got you.
The memes you send me all day suggest otherwise. Chris,
Damn, you called me out.
I feel like we can skip me.
yeah, because you're on the website formerly known as Twitter as well, aren't you?
What's the problem? Just because the current owner just brazenly outed himself as a raging anti-Semite is...
That could do it.
maybe.
Long Walk Podcast does not support raging anti-Semites.
No.
Just chill, mellow anti-Semites.
Damn it.
Stop it. You were right there,
Yeah.
ready for it.
Well, if you want to follow me online, the best place to do that is on Instagram at DB Hensley. If you inform me that the owner of Instagram is a raging anti-Semite, I'm going to be very upset.
But not surprised.
But not surprised. But we'll announce that website too. If you want to keep up with Long Walk Productions, you can visit us online at longwalk.us to see more of our original work or hear past episodes that are no longer streaming. You can follow the YouTube links in the show notes. Thank you very much for listening, and if you enjoy this show or any of the shows on the Long Walk Podcast Network, please make sure to leave us a rating and a review on whatever platform you're listening on.
And folks, remember, you might be banged up, they might have closed the doors on you, but it is never too late to get yourself off that stretcher, choke out the EMTs, take over that ambulance, and drive yourself right back to where you need to be. I'm Robert Brafford. This has been Chris Barnes and Gina Belmont. Thank you for listening to... This has been Gina Brafford, my wife,
you.
who has the same last name as me.
Wow.
So close to nailing that.
All right, home's going to be great.
Can we just do that one again?
Nope.
Whose house?
The metaphor of steering an ambulance back to a different place just got a lot more apt. I'm Robert Brafford, and this has been This Is a Work.